Balls. This is Fierce Fighting Championship 46, presented by R&R Barbecue. Happy to have you with us alongside David Kim. I'm Blake O'Rulian. David, welterweight gold sits atop a stacked card for this Idaho Falls crowd.
This is going to be one of the best cards that Idaho has seen yet. The main event's crazy, and we have a bunch of Idaho fighters on this card. All the locals, I mean, it's almost sold out here right now.
Should be an incredible night in terms of the attendance and all that here at the Mountain America Center. Happy to be back. How about Javier Beltran? An unbeaten prospect as an amateur, unbeaten as a pro. He draws Dakota Growth this evening, a surging star out of Vernal, Utah.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of the big questions for tonight. Can he stay undefeated, and can he prove that he is a legitimate prospect in MMA?
Some hardware on the line for the amateur flyweights as well. Kiani Benali looks to defend opposite Chloe Becker out of Idaho.
Yeah, both of these fighters have a ton of experience in the cage. Some of the best amateurs in the women's division, and they're both forward fighters, so they're going to come at each other.
Should be a night to remember. Cannot wait to get to it. We'll start up right after this.
Back inside the Mountain America Center with a hardware-heavy main card. This is Fierce Fighting Championship.
Ani's one of those fighters that is here to fight, and he's game to fight anyway.
I think that's going to be one of the top MMA fights professional in the entire region.
Out of Burley, Idaho, Fierce fans anxiously awaiting the type of show he can put on.
Can't just stand here.
Oh! Puzzle piece finishing blow! Anthony Castro folds another victim.
Fierce fans, for those of you tuning into the pay-per-view, and for those of you in attendance here at the Mountain America Center in Idaho Falls, Idaho, welcome to Fierce Fighting Championship. Tonight's event is sanctioned by the Idaho State Athletic Commission with Deputy Commissioner Marvin Crane in attendance. Dr. Cabot Murdoch is also cage-side this evening, along with timekeeper Mike Stone and scorekeeper Tim Turner. The judges for the evening are Stephen Farragher, Dan Furse, and Dennis McMahon. And the referees in charge when the fights begin will be Tyler Tomlinson and Dave Selyusted. Fierce fans, we are moments away from our first fight of the evening, but at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps as we honor our country with the singing of our national anthem. Please welcome back an extremely talented vocalist, Fierce Fighting Championship ring girl, and my beautiful wife, Andrea Hoops.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Make some noise for Andrea Hoops! Okay, all right. I might have tears in my eyes from that. That's pretty impressive. Let's get to the fights now. Fierce fans, we are now ready for what you all came here to see. 24 mixed martial artists, 12 total fights, including 2 fights, 2 title fights for 1 Fierce Fighting Championship evening. So Fierce fans, we need to let the fighters in the back know that you are here. Put your hands together and make some noise! Our first fight of the evening is brought to you by Underground Farm, the official wellness supplements of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our first 2 fighters, Dylan Dennison and then Harrison Chandler, to the cage.
All right, 5 years in the making for Dylan Dennison. David, he comes from your neck of the woods in Provo, Utah. Says he can get the job done anywhere this fight takes place.
Yeah, Dylan is one of those classic fighters that trains in the gym for years and years and years. People are scared of him. I've seen him put pros in their place, and he's ready to make his debut tonight.
Yeah, he started out with a jiu-jitsu and kickboxing base after roughhousing with his friends and getting more interested when he was younger. Did taekwondo and soccer as a kid, but he's been over at Agima for years at this point.
Yeah, and not only that, he also cross-trains when he's in Vegas, where he's originally from, and it's super cool to just watch him grow and finally have the courage and kind of the belief in himself to be here tonight.
Dylan Dennison, the fighter out of Agima in Provo, Utah, just turned 31 on Wednesday. He is one of a few debuters this evening live at Fierce Fighting Championship 46. And yeah, talking about his time in Vegas, that was certainly a formative time for him to build up as a fighter before he got to Provo.
Yeah, and he's extremely well-rounded. He can strike, he can grapple, he has really good wrestling. So yeah, he's definitely been around the block at the different gyms, both in Vegas and here.
Dylan Dennison to debut right now. He'll await Harrison Chandler. Feeling loose in his first walk of the year for Idaho's Harrison Chandler. David, he has the skill set to get it done, singularly focused on that first win tonight.
Yeah, especially up in this building. He has had some barn burner fights against Prescott, against Luke Sanders, just back and forth action. I definitely think he's one of the better grapplers on the card here.
Yeah, 2 of his 3 bouts have gone the full time, both of them here at the Mountain America Center. It's his 3rd time fighting in front of this Idaho Falls crowd. It's almost like a second home for him when it comes to competing.
Yeah, he's definitely become a regular here in Idaho Falls, and every single time he fights, it's just like everyone's mesmerized because there's so much going on. I remember him fighting Luke, and he was like on top and on bottom and everywhere in between. It was nuts.
Yeah, has plenty of years in the room, been training combat sports for about 7 years at this point, and got into an absolute barn burner in October, which ended in under a round versus Stephen Lake. But he is becoming such an exciting fighter. The way in which he strikes, the way in which he wants to grapple, like you mentioned, it's all over the place.
And don't let the record fool you. You know, this amateur career of his has been really, really good. He's fought really tough people, and that experience is going to help him here.
Harrison Chandler debuted in November of 2024 versus James Prescott here at the Mountain America Center. He will look to strike the win column for the very first time. 0-3 the record right now, but it hasn't been without some formidable performances in the process. First of a dozen tonight. Dennison just turned 31 on Wednesday. He's also 3 inches taller. All clear on the commission scale as both parties hope to strike their first win. Ready to rev up FFC 46, we've got Jackson Hopes.
Cheers, fans. This fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur welterweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 6 feet 2 inches tall and weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. Hailing from Utah, Dylan Dennison. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. Holding an amateur record of 0 wins and 3 losses, he stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 168 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Pack Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Rexburg, Idaho, by way of Sydney, Australia, Harrison Chandler. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
First of a dozen tonight, powered by Underground Farm, the official wellness supplement of Fierce FC. Dylan Dennison debuts in black. Harrison Chandler matches with a little bit of red on those black trunks as well. Tyler Tomlinson, first of 6 assignments for him tonight. He also will handle the co-main event later on between Javier Beltran and Dakota Growth. For now, FFC 46 is off and underway. Quick kick by Dennison. Chandler wraps up.
Yeah, they're already into the grappling. Not too surprised, actually. Dylan's doing a great job of putting the pressure on, but he needs to either lock those hands or rotate the body so he can use the over-under position to take him down. But Harrison's doing a great job of just making the balance work for him, and was able to reverse right there.
Chandler, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Again, been training in that Pack Jiu-Jitsu room for quite some time at this point.
I think especially with debuters, and great lateral drop attempt right there, but especially with debuters, you don't necessarily know how it's going to go. Oh, powerful shots.
Starting to tee off now is Dylan Dennison.
You never know how it's going to go. The first round tells you a lot about a debuter and kind of the type of fighter they are.
Whipping left hook, just misses the target as Dennison brings it down to the mat for the first time.
And that was a beautiful double leg. That time he was finally able to suck those hips in and pull them in tight.
Chandler does like to go for those guillotines in the past when distance is closed. Not a prime position to do so, as Dennison, for a moment, looked like he was about to stand up.
Yeah, Harrison does a great job of using his jiu-jitsu to kind of get up, but Dylan, as someone who's grappled him before, he's a heavy guy. Like, he just has a lot of pressure, a lot of strength. He's really, really strong for his size, and he's a big guy with that. So,
1.5 pounds heavier on the plate last night as well. Separated are the two. Chandler goes for a home run hit. Aims high as well.
Yeah, the grappling's been interesting. Obviously, it's been fairly even, I would say, when it comes to the wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I think that we're going to answer a lot of questions here in the stand-up.
Harrison Chandler really debuting a lot of kicks. Haven't seen that as much in the past. Throws a lot of sauce on all of his shots, but not necessarily a kicker, so to speak.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of growth from him. And, wow, that's a crazy scramble. Dylan just doing a phenomenal job of staying on top. Typically in those scrambles, the person who stays on top is the person who is able to win the position. Though this ankle lock does look a little tricky.
Right in the center of the Che Brazilian grill cage. Tough angle to see it from. We got a little bit of a better vantage point there, David.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has it fully on or anything, as Dylan's able to slip out.
Another big swing and a miss for Harrison Chandler. Solid round by both as we head into the second frame.
Yeah, I was super impressed, honestly. Both of those guys just really came out. They showed some grappling. They showed kicks, good striking. I think it's really going to be a test of who can stay disciplined and committed throughout the entire fight.
We go over to Harrison Chandler. What is some of your estimation of what he's got to do in round number 2 after 3 minutes of action?
You know, honestly, I thought he looked really good with those kicks. He should double down, throw straight kicks up the middle, roundhouse kicks, and then use his hands because he does have a lot of power.
Where do you feel like they are in terms of the placement of grappling skill sets? Because like you mentioned, they're pretty stalemated right now, but do you see any advantages on either side?
Dylan's definitely got the edge on the wrestling. He was able to take him down multiple times from the over-under position, whether it be a double leg or kind of body lock position. But then Harrison, on the flip side, was able to use his jiu-jitsu to stay safe and to come back up.
Second round, first time for Harrison Chandler since March of last year here at the Mountain America Center. Again, a quick finish in October of last year, the last time that he made the walk. First of 12 matchups this evening live in Idaho Falls. Happy to have you back with us as Harrison Chandler closes distance once again.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily like the body language. Wow, beautiful takedown right there. Did not like the body language from Dylan coming out of the corner. Now he finds himself in a bad position right here.
Chandler with a clean window and attacks perfectly.
Yeah, Chandler did a great job of using those strikes to get right to the back. Has it under the chin a little bit. Oh, it's getting pushed off though.
Tough spot. Dennison continues to fight back, but this could be Harrison Chandler's first ever MMA victory.
And he's doing a great job. He used a crossface to actually bring the arm right underneath the chin.
The streak is finally snapped. Harrison Chandler, his first MMA win.
Like the back roll.
What a moment for Harrison Chandler. He had struggled in his MMA career up to this point. A decision loss, a second decision loss, and then obviously getting TKO just a few months back. For him to finally get that opportunity, we see the emotion evoked right there.
Yeah, to me it seemed like Dylan almost had like an adrenaline dump. His face and his body language did not look good going into that second round, and I think Harrison saw that, put the pedal to the metal, and finished it.
Harrison Chandler, a big win for Pack Jiu-Jitsu. He has certainly wanted that one for a long time. We have seen some talented names out of Idaho Falls and Pack Jiu-Jitsu, specifically in Rexburg, Idaho. We think of Spencer Woodland, a former title challenger, but Harrison Chandler finally gets his shining moment inside of the FFC cage. Tyler Tomlinson wrangles Jackson Hoops, just about ready to put it on paper. He enters inside, and he is ready to trigger.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 43 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Harrison Chandler.
Big win for Harrison Chandler. FFC 46 resumes in 60 seconds.
Come on, check this out. Out.
You asked, and we've answered. Jay Brazilian Grill is now partnering with Rodizio Grill to bring meats to your table. Now you can relax and indulge as our gauchos bring picanha top sirloin, glazed pineapple, and more right to you. Enjoy tableside rotation and additional meats at our Gaucho Grill. Come enjoy the new service style at Che by Rodizio Grill. Learn more at chegrill.com.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So 170 in the book for Harrison Chandler. Up next, Michael Lazalde, Benjamin Brooks at 145.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by JC Pro Design, the official printing partner of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Benjamin Brooks and then Michael Lazalde, to the cage.
1 year as an independent in prep for this February walk. Here is Benjamin Brooks. David, he says he wants to keep it upright and showcase his hands in there this evening.
Yeah, this is a breath of fresh air. When I started MMA, there were a lot more independent fighters. This is the first one I've seen in a long time, and I think it's pretty cool to see because we have no idea how this is going to go. I do know he has a lot of experience. Apparently he's from Tennessee and did some martial arts out there, so I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, originally from there where he also did some martial arts training. Says that his dad has been integral in showing him the value of hard work, which he looks to translate into the cage tonight. Aldo Regia and Mason Moyes step in to help him in that corner as he is an independent. Says he has always been fascinated by martial arts over the years. Noted Conor McGregor, Mike Tyson as inspirations to him. Wants to test himself in that amateur debut.
You know, I think there's something to be said for someone who, you know, it doesn't train at a formal gym, does different things, but they're willing to step in that cage just because they want to try it out. That's a good sign.
Haven't seen him in some time. Back at Fierce is Michael Lizalde. David, he's dropped 5 straight, but in his lone walk of 2025, he looked vastly improved.
And honestly, I know he's lost a few fights, but names like Nate Ayers, Zach Spritzer, like those are some tough names, honestly. And he's looked good in every single fight. It just hasn't gone his way.
And higher-tiered grapplers, too. I mean, that is obviously a place that has been a pain point for him. But like you mentioned, all absolute killers.
Yeah, and if you go back and watch his fights, he has a lot of steam on his shots. I think he can finish this fight if he's able to land one of those big overhands.
Yeah, 4 fights in 2024 for Michael Lizalde, only 1 in 2025, nearly a year ago in March. We will see where he's improved and how much he has been in the lab. His 3rd straight in his home state of Idaho as well. Obviously, home field advantage, certainly a thing in this sport.
No, I think this is the perfect place for him to fight, and I'm hoping to see if his grappling's improved. Also kind of sharper boxing. He kind of goes out there and swings really hard. I'd love to see a little more discipline on the feet.
Here's some of the intangibles presented by Che Brazilian Grill. Mid-20s for Lizalde, late teens for Brooks, who stands taller by an inch. Both hit that featherweight frame last night as a 7th fight commences for Michael. Benjamin debuts right now.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Making his amateur debut, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 143 1/2 pounds. Fighting as an independent fighter. Hailing from Rexburg, Idaho, Benjamin Brooks. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 5 losses. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of Omens Martial Arts, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Michael Lizalde. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Dave Selyestead.
Round 1, bout 1, brought to you in part by JC Pro Design, Fierce's official printing partner. Benjamin Brooks in the camo. Michael Lizalde returns in red. Dave Selyested's first of 6 assignments as well. He also handles the 2 title fights this evening between Kiani Benali and Chloe Becker, and Connie Correa and Anthony Castro in our main event.
You know, Lizalde has always been pretty physically fit, but he looks phenomenal right now.
Chomps down so big, but Benjamin Brooks might have just shut off the lights. Quick scramble between the two. Benjamin Brooks swings heavy, David.
Told you, we have no idea what happens when it's a debuter.
Lizalde bids to grapple. He'll get down the independent fighter.
And this is what we wanted to see, is can he grapple? Looks like he has pretty tight choke right there. Might have the Von Fluke choke. Brooks
Perfect
looks
placement.
like he's holding on. He might go out here.
Lizalde hasn't won a fight since his debut in February of 2023. It was here 3 years ago at the Mountain America Center. Can he pull it off again?
And he has the arm triangle real tight. It's good to see him have a little bit more grappling this time around.
Strong defense by Benjamin Brooks.
Yeah, that was impressive. He just rolled out of that. I mean, that's one of my favorite moves to do in that position.
To a clean back position, Benjamin Brooks in a world of trouble right now. Looks like it's there. Michael Lizalde, first win in 3 years. Welcome back to the winner's circle.
That was impressive on both ends, honestly. I'm so impressed by Brooks coming out like that, dropping Lizalde, but then Lizalde having the composure to come back and win via submission. Wow.
Absolute jubilation on the side of Anna Kays, Tate Martin, and the Michael Lizalde corner. All smiles on their end, and David, like you mentioned, that knockdown was the thing that looked like it might have shut off the lights. Didn't do so. He was able to switch up the course.
I'm so impressed. He was pretty wobbled. It looked like he was going to be out, but he was able to get to his wrestling and his grappling and was able to take him down and stay safe and recover. And he put on 3 different submissions during that and finally finished the 3rd one.
Incredibly impressive out of Michael Lizalde. He had his debut here February 11th, 2023. Now February 6th, 2026. He is back in the win column. Happy to see Michael Lizalde with a smile on his face. Benjamin Brooks wrangled in the center alongside Dave Selystead. Let's go to Hoops.
Referee Dave Selystead has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 23 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Michael Lizalde.
Huge win for Michael Lizalde. More amateur action when you come back.
Your brand on the move, wherever life takes you, seen in the rush of adrenaline, in the freedom of the ride, in the heights of adventure, and the thrill of new perspectives. No limits, no borders, just your brand reaching new heights. Wherever the journey takes you, your business deserves to be seen. JC Pro Design. Wherever you go, make it visible.
The 2026 Harley-Davidson motorcycles are rolling in, forged from tradition, steel, and soul. Each one engineered for the ride, with the performance, style, and presence that define Harley-Davidson. They're not just motorcycles, they're American craftsmanship on 2 wheels. And they're impossible to ignore.
Benjamin Brooks. Harrison Chandler with the finish as well. Chris Nanny, Kahialo Clark are next.
Fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by S Panels, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next 2 fighters, Kahialo Clark and then Chris Nanny to the cage.
Still searching for his first MMA win is Kahialo Clark. David, he met his match in April of last year, but showed so much promise whilst going the full 9 minutes and winning a round in the process.
Yeah, Kahi's one of those guys that when you go for sparring rounds in the gym, you kind of don't want to go with him because he's awkward, he's funky, he's a southpaw, but he's a very promising prospect.
Yeah, a good gas tank on him, too. No hindrance in his performance despite going the full time last year. Just over a year in the Provo room, but absolutely bloodbath the steel fist cage in his MMA debut. Entertaining for sure.
Yeah, no, he's definitely talented, and he's grown a lot since that fight. Really hoping to see if we can see more of his wrestling and jiu-jitsu along with the striking, though he is primarily kind of, a striker.
Went to a decision alongside Hunter Bingham out of Vernal, Utah in April of last year. A little bit of time away, but happy to see him back on a fierce stage this time around. Court McGee and Dana Ristazabal just moments ago in your frame. They are a very busy coaching unit this weekend. Not only are they here at Fierce Fighting Championship at Idaho Falls, they will drive down about 6 to 7 hours to get to St. George for Crown Fighting Championships tomorrow night as well.
Yeah, you guys, if you're listening, you need to find men in your life like Dana Ristazabal and Court McGee that will drive from Idaho all the way to St. George for you. We love them.
Kahialo Clark inside at lightweight. He'll await Chris Nanny. All right, a first win is in the sights for Chris Nanny. David, a guy who's been at it since he was 15. The debut didn't go his way, hasn't deterred him. He's right back to action just a few months later.
You know, as a martial arts instructor myself, I know that people that start as teenagers, they learn a lot of the character development, and even when they have adversity like a loss, you know, they want to get back on that horse and try it again. So I'm really impressed with Chris for getting back to it. Hopefully his background from his youth helps him tonight.
Yeah, he briefly wrestled like his older brother, but was more interested in jiu-jitsu, which led him over to Pac Jiu-Jitsu at such a young age. Been at it since he was 15 years old and has been there on and off for years.
That's really cool. I mean, I think there's a lot of people kind of in his boat where, you know, they're training, they're trying it, they see the MMA thing, they're not sure if they want to get punched in the face, but once they're all in, they're able to commit and do something very special.
Yeah, said that he wanted to find a finish early in his first walk. Definitely learned to be more patient after the debut.
Yeah, it's tough, you know, after a loss. Sometimes you go really quick, really, you know, you don't know what to expect. And so now that sophomore trial is the one where you're able to kind of really stay focused and locked in.
Chris Nanny out of Omens Martial Arts and Pac Jiu-Jitsu. Let's look at the numbers for this one. Nanny the wiser by 5 years as Clark has the slight lean in height. Both made weight last night with a 2-pound divide as a first win sits in the balance. Inside to trigger the action is Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 153 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from Orem, Utah, Kahialo Clark. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, also holding an amateur record of 0 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 155 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Omens Martial Arts and Pac Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Sugar City, Idaho, Chris Nanny. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
First 3 minutes of this one powered by S-Panels, structural insulated panel systems. The future is here. Kahialo Clark challenges in black. Chris Nanny wears orange. Tyler Tomlinson patiently awaiting the exit of all the members that need to be inside that cage. Top round 1 we go.
They just went tit for tat. They threw the exact same combo.
Quick leg kicks to start things out for Kahialo Clark.
Both 0-1. You know, see a lot of similarities, honestly.
Chris striking up top for Chris Nanny as well. Close it up with a kick.
I like how he's kind of keeping his position. He's not conceding anything. Staying right in Kahi's face.
Stiff jab down the pipe for Clark lands. Clean and composed are the two as Nanny loaded up just moments ago.
Yeah, Nanny's hooks are nasty. Really sharp.
Clark mixes up those targets very well, David.
It's also interesting, both of these guys southpaw as well. A lot of similarities. This was a good matchup.
Both sides teeing off right now. Looks like a sparring practice, David.
Yeah, they're kind of going back and forth a little bit. I'd like to see, a little bit more of this disruption. Nanny's doing just a great job of kind of keeping him on, Kahi on the back foot. But Kahi's coming back.
Oh! Down and buckled off the Kahialo strike. Batters to the body. Down is Chris Nanny. Kahialo Clark gets his first MMA victory. It seemed like someone was going to detonate first, and his name is Kahialo Clark.
What was crazy about that is he was getting lit up. He was looking not good, and then all of a sudden just came back, hit that one shot, and then was able to finish the fight.
Unbelievable win by Kahialo Clark. Traded back and forth. Chris Nanny still down, but seems to have his wits about him. A strong performance, but a little bit of blood seeps down from the eye as well as the nose. Our Dr. Doc Murdoch here to take care of everything, but Kahialo Clark has so much swagger, a lot of it based off this finishing sequence.
Yeah, you see he's kind of getting landed on, and then all of a sudden lands one big one right there, that big hook, comes back with a dozen shots or so, and that's all she wrote.
Unbelievable victory by him. David, you talked about it a little bit, that he's a guy in the room that you don't necessarily want to train with him because he's so powerful and so sharp. He showed it there in his sophomore slate.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just weird, two southpaws against each other, kind of different range. But, yeah, it looked really solid tonight in that finish.
Over to 1-1 we go for Kahialo Clark. Jackson Hoops has got it for you.
At 1 minute 35 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by TKO, Kahialo Clark.
As entertaining as it gets, Kahialo Clark gets it done. We'll step aside. More to come after this. Kahialo Clark, so impressive for the third fight of the evening. Number 4 is up next. Edwin Martinez, Dylan Dacumos.
Fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Willie's Distillery, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Dylan Dacumos and then Edwin Martinez, to the cage.
All right, a long time coming for Empire MMA's Dylan Dacumos. David, he has plenty of miles in and out of gyms training various martial arts. He finally gets his shot after over a decade in the room.
Yeah, we've been hearing rumors and rumblings about this kid specifically, that he is a very good, talented martial artist. So we're excited to see him debut here and show off some of those rumors.
Yeah, he got curious after watching Conor McGregor versus Eddie Alvarez back in the day. And when he started submitting bigger guys in the room, he knew it could be an option.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the times, you know, a lot of people start with jiu-jitsu just because the barrier to entry is a lot easier, but then they learn that they're pretty good at it or they're pretty athletic, and they can translate that into fighting.
Told me, interestingly enough, that the MMA writer Jack Slack has been big for him in his MMA journey thus far, really deepening his understanding of the sport. Quite an interesting take by him. I've never heard that from a fighter before.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, in a world today where there's so many different voices and content creators making information about martial arts, I think it's cool that we can look at those people and learn about the sport that we love.
A single dad who's been meaning to fight for a long time, but it was being planned around the time that he found out he was going to be a dad when he was 20. At 25 years of age, he finally gets his opportunity. Third fight in 6 months for Edwin Martinez. David, he's coming off a quick finish in October. He'll try to match the efficiency in this one.
Yeah, and Edwin is pretty well-rounded. You know, his last one was by rear naked choke. He has a win in kickboxing, so he can both, you know, kind of do it all.
Yeah, I mean, he turned 19 in December and impressively is already at MMA Walk number 3.
That's super sick. That's super cool. I think it's great when we see people so young getting that experience now, because when they're, you know, a decade from now, who knows where they'll be.
Edwin Martinez out of Lionheart MMA in Idaho Falls finally found an opponent about 3.5 weeks ago in Dylan Dacumos. Wasn't sure who he'd be fighting, but was all for it when he was presented with the guy.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of the potential opponents saw the film and they were like, nuh-uh, we don't want this guy.
An absolute firecracker in Edwin Martinez. To the tail of the tape we go. Martinez, still a teenager at just 19 years of age. He is 1 inch shorter in there tonight. No issues with weight for these two at 130 and 129.5 as Martinez has the edge in MMA experience. Back inside to set the stage is Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds and it is an amateur 130-pound catchweight bout. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, making his amateur debut. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighed in at 129.5 pounds. Fighting out of Empire MMA, hailing from San Francisco, California, Dylan Dacumos. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 130 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Edwin Martinez. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Dave Selya, said.
Short notice scrap presented by Willie's Distillery, the official liquor of Fierce FC. Dylan Dacumos in black, Edwin Martinez fashions the gray. Three fights, 3 finishes thus far. We will see if that continues to play out here between these two at 130 pounds.
Edwin was power.
Big swings as Dacumos looked to be off of his wheels just a little bit.
Going for the bulldog choke right here.
Quick into it. Dacumos has his back against the wall.
This is a tough one to finish, but he might be getting it.
All of Martinez's wins have been by submission. His losses as well.
If I'm Dacumos, yeah, I'm grabbing the body, rotating, getting my head out. But that's tight by Edwin.
Fast start for Edwin Martinez. Dacumos has his eye closed. That is it. Dave Selystead says that's enough. Edwin Martinez, second win at only 19 years old.
That was...
David, it all started with an emphatic start by Edwin Martinez, a knockdown that really set the tone for a fast fight.
You know, as my coach Court McGee always says, typically the person who goes first wins. And that was a prime example of it. Both of these guys are tough, but Edwin was just able to kind of get the head start. And, I mean, you know, Dacumos wasn't even able to catch up.
Edwin Martinez, so impressive by him. A submission in October of last year, his second amateur fight, and now a massive TKO victory. We've got it for you right here.
Yeah, just the power. Watch how, like, ferocious he is right here. I mean, has the headlock and he's hitting him, then goes for the bulldog choke. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get this, but it was a really good attempt. But even afterwards, he was able to kind of get back to his feet and just dominate. So impressive.
Made it an absolute dogfight. Edwin Martinez, we were so high on him. Now 2-1 his record. And like mentioned, David, 3.5 weeks notice. He had no issue with taking this fight. He wanted it immediately.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad man right there at 19.
I am also hearing from our control room that Edwin Martinez might have broken his wrist off of the offensive efficiency that he's had. We see them playing with the glove right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they still can't take it off.
And that will happen when you throw with reckless abandon. He'll get a win for it, however. Dave Selyusted tries to bring him inside. They are corralled. Hoops is ready to trigger.
Has called a stop to this contest at 44 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Edwin Martinez.
An unbelievable performance by Edwin Martinez. We'll be back in Idaho Falls in 1 minute.
She's been on a tear. Her striking has looked good. She's got knockout power.
We will have to see what he does in 2026.
What a great train. Man, and he is on fire. Look at him.
We'll be back in February.
Write this kid's name down. He performed beautifully tonight.
Wow. It's the Masonic Temple to pop.
Norby Ortiz capitalizes on his Masonic Temple debut.
The crowd is going crazy.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So a second round finish, 3 first round finishes. We are about 48 minutes into this telecast, and we are already at fight number 5 at 170 pounds. Wyatt Powell, Austin Bershey are next.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Burger Theory, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next 2 fighters, Austin Bershey and then Wyatt Powell, to the cage.
All right, another Mountain America Center rep for Austin Bershey. David, he had some shining moments last March, but fell victim to the veteran-level grappling of Tristan McDonald. Looks to get back to his winning ways tonight.
And honestly, that's not a fight that you know should scoff at. Like, he did really great in that fight, and he's our current fierce fighting champion.
Amateur lightweight champion.
Amateur lightweight, and this is actually a welterweight. He looks a lot healthier, honestly, at this weight class.
Yeah, he's up 15 pounds, the heaviest he's ever been, and he felt very fresh at weigh-in specifically. And sometimes going up in weight is the thing that cracks the code to get back on track.
Especially, he has kind of the reach and the length to compete at welterweight. He looks really sharp with his striking and his grappling. Like, he's a very well-rounded fighter, so I'm sure that the extra pounds and weight is going to help him out.
Austin Bershey back again. His second fight inside of a year. Has not done that since 2019. He was much more active last decade. We will see him get the ball rolling once again as he awaits Wyatt Powell. All right, a strong start to the fight career for Idaho Falls' Wyatt Powell. David, he had 2 wins with 2 finishes in 2 sports last summer at only 20 years old. A whole lot of time to make some noise in the Idaho MMA scene.
We've seen a few really talented young fighters, under 22 or so tonight, but this is one that I specifically am super excited to watch because he has just looked crazy good in both of his fights.
Super interesting for Wyatt Powell, a substantial drop-off in weight over the past 6 months. He fought in kickboxing at 205, then 185 in MMA, and now a welterweight frame for the local. He was 240 pounds in high school playing football.
And he looks super lean and, naturally good. It doesn't, a lot of people kind of look depleted. He looks like he's at the right weight.
All right, 2 local welterweights for this one. Early 20s for Powell, early 30s for Bershey, who gives up 2 inches in height at 5'10". Passed by the commission, both sub 171, as Powell looks to stay unbeaten and Bershey tries for his first win this decade. Mike is hot. Inside, we got Jay.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Pack Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Poplar, Montana, Austin Bershey. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated amateur record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from Casper, Wyoming, by way of Idaho Falls, Wyatt Powell. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
Big thank you to Burger Theory, who brings you this bout. Eat great, drink local at Burger Theory. Austin Bershey back again in black. Wyatt Powell bites back in red. Interesting story. Wyatt Powell lost his contact 30 seconds into his MMA debut, still came away with a round 3 TKO.
Sometimes it's better not to see what you're throwing at, But seriously, the peripheral vision sometimes in fights, and it's just muscle memory and, your natural ability, and he has it.
Powell bites back heavy, a car crash in the middle. Really investing in those leg kicks early is the fighter out of Idaho Falls.
Yeah, I'm really like...
Down and out cold, Wyatt Powell with an absolute massive punctuation on this one. Just like that, David Kim, Wyatt Powell gets another victory. He's 2-0.
I told you guys to remember the name Wyatt Powell. Let's watch this replay real quick. He did a great job just coming forward. Didn't let it stop him. And then just that big overhand right hit through the hook to the overhand, and it landed flush.
A rupturing strike by Wyatt Powell to stay undefeated. And again, David Kim, only 20 years old. A finish back in July, a faster finish this time around in Idaho Falls.
Tonight has definitely been about the future of MMA, and it's looking really bright.
Cannot believe how good he looked and how flush that landed. Hopes is not inside just yet, but unbelievable by him. Happy to see Austin Bershey right back up and on his feet. We'll crown Wyatt Powell right now.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 22 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout, Wyatt Powell.
Huge victory by Wyatt Powell. Bigger bodies go blow for blow when you return.
Don't start your next construction project until you see what S-Panels can do. Structural Insulated Panel Systems, or SIPs, are revolutionizing the way homes are built, making the entire process faster and smarter than traditional stick framing. Think of them as the iPhone of home construction, when everyone else is still using flip phones. What makes SIPs so revolutionary is how simple they make the building process. Instead of constructing walls piece by piece on site, S-Panels provide SIPs pre-built and ready to install. This isn't just a little upgrade either. S-Panels can cut your framing time in half compared to traditional methods. Labor savings are massive. According to a BASF study, builders using SIPs needed 55% fewer workers on framing crews. That's huge when skilled labor is so hard to find these days. But here's where it gets really interesting. While traditional stick-built homes can take anywhere from 6 to 9 months to complete, homes built with S-Panels can be done in just 90 days. That's potentially cutting your build time by 2/3. Architects love them because they deliver predictable results every time. Builders love them because they require fewer workers and create less waste. And homeowners love them because they get a better built house faster with superior quality. It's rare to find construction innovation that makes everyone happy. We're proud to say that S-Panels pulls it off. The future of residential construction isn't coming. It's already here, and it's built with S-Panels.
You asked, and we've answered. Jay Brazilian Grill is now partnering with Rodizio Grill to bring meats to your table. Now you can relax and indulge as our gauchos bring picanha top sirloin, glazed pineapple, and more right to you. Enjoy tableside rotation and additional meats at our Gaucho Grill. Come enjoy the new service style at Che by Rodizio Grill. Learn more at chegrill.com.
Another first-round finish, this one for Wyatt Powell. 5 fights, 5 finishes. Unbelievable output by these prelims. Cody Papasan, Brandon Henley look to continue this massive wave of efficiency.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Watkins Distributing, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next 2 fighters, Brandon Henley and then Cody Papasan, to the cage.
Back-to-back wins, trying to make it a trio. Here is Brandon Henley. David, a larger body but moves and unloads like a lightweight. A high IQ out of Meridian, Idaho.
Yeah, he is definitely very athletic, bouncy. You guys are going to see in a minute. And I think this is the perfect weight class for him because he's a smaller heavyweight but like a massive light heavyweight. So I think the 225 cruiserweight is perfect.
Yeah, began fighting in March of 2022, and despite a slow start, has begun to turn his amateur record around. He's won 2 straight in MMA.
Yeah, and he just is crazy solid on the feet. Looks really strong. Every punch is just with a ton of power, as well as his grappling is very well-rounded as well.
Yeah, rapid instincts, holds that wide stance very well, and is always looking for that off button.
Yeah. He's kind of your prototypical, like, when you think of a big old MMA fighter, this is kind of the type of dude you think of.
I will mention Brandon Henley did lose a kickboxing bout in March of last year, but again, in the small gloves, been very successful. A kickboxer by trade, but really started to develop his grappling when he got to Legacy MMA again in Meridian, Idaho. Brandon Henley, the record is 2-2. Some of the biggest bodies we've got on this entire card. Very excited to see the knockout power potentially between them.
Yeah, I mean, after what we've witnessed for the past 5 fights, this one should probably be a banger too.
Long time since he stepped foot in the Mount America Center. Now back to the building blocks for Cody Papasan. David, a guy with a strong backing in wrestling, but his hands did the talking in his first amateur win from 2023.
Yeah, I don't know if it's on the Fierce Fighting Championship app or if it was with a different promotion, but you need to look up his knockout. It is lights out.
Stepped away after his loss in April of 2023. Felt it was about time for him to get back into action, which brings him here tonight more so than anything, just motivated to get back to training and competing.
And he's a part of a pretty good team, too. Lionheart MMA, they, for years, have come down to Utah to compete with all the guys down there. And I know they're a very solid team with a lot of great training.
So far, 2-0 on the day. Papasan, the third. All right, over to 225 for this one. Similar in age, just a 1-year gap, and identical in stature as well. Henley, lighter last night by a pound, as a 1-1 record, stares across at a 2-2 record. Inside to cue the combat is Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur cruiserweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 221 pounds. Fighting out of Legacy MMA, hailing from Houston, Texas, by way of Nampa, Idaho, the Boogeyman, Brandon Hendley. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 1 win and 1 loss. He also stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 222 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Cody Papasan. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Dave Selyestedt.
A cruiserweight clash made possible by Watkins Distributing, putting your business first for over 30 years. Brandon Hendley looks for 3 straight in blue gloves. Cody Papasan returns in red gloves. .100% finish rate thus far. A 2-pack of prelims still to go. This one at 225.
Digging the hot sauce shorts? Is that what that is?
Not sure exactly what you're alluding to.
Henley has some pretty cool equipment for tonight.
Quick blitz by Papasan. He'll wipe his eye.
It looks like there might have been an accidental eye poke, but, you know, the referee needs to be the one to actually stop the action. If not, they need to keep fighting.
Papasan closes distance. Henley able to weather the storm.
Yeah, you're kind of seeing a little bit of a difference between these guys. Hendley, he's bouncing around, you know, very bouncy style, kind of in and out, whereas Papasan's a little more, you know, back and forth, forward and backwards. Both very talented, though.
Henley tees off. Deep bag of tricks with that spinning kick.
A back kick at cruiserweight. That just shows his athleticism.
Like mentioned, he unloads like a lightweight. Certainly doesn't strike similar to his size. So athletic out of the fighter from Meridian, Idaho.
He looked like a Taekwondo black belt right there. I like how Papasan, though, is he's still throwing to the legs, lower extremities, because that's going to pay dividends in the later rounds if it goes there. You're seeing that Henley keeps putting his fingers out. You know, that's kind of a little more of an amateur thing. Dave Selyestedt not having it, though.
So attentive, leading the dance thus far is Brandon Hendley.
And just watch how he's moving his
Looks like a little bit below the belt. Brandon Hendley immediately reacts to that one, David.
Yeah, that was pretty flush.
Quick warning on the side of Dave Selyestedt.
But the reason why that happened is Hendley was doing a great job of switching his stance. You'll see that he switches his stance right here. I'm sure Papasan was trying to hit the lead leg, but ended up kind of going right in the middle.
Looks like the angle wasn't quite there, but immediately Papasan puts out his hand.
Yeah. Well, it was tough. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, he was doing a great job of switching his stance. You know, he would be in the orthodox stance throwing his combo, then he'd swing back to southpaw, throw the hook. And it's really hard when you're aiming kind of for that lead leg when it switches from the left to the right leg, you know. And sometimes that can happen.
Still getting his bearings. Looks like we got it one more time.
Yeah, that was pretty obvious. Henley does not look like he's having a fun time, though.
And how show-stopping can that be for a guy who really did have a lot of wind in his sail to start off the round?
Yeah, you know, it's never fun as a fighter when you're kind of like finding your flow state or you're finding your zone, and then, you know, one of these fouls happens. And obviously, I don't think it was intentional or anything, but it definitely does suck when you're like potentially going to be able to finish the fight or win the round, you know, and everything has to stop.
Got Cody Papasan trying to stay warm, trying to stay upright and just get back into this action. Henley is back up, under a minute to go, round one.
Yeah, Henley's struggling. This is, I mean, it was pretty bad, so it's pretty fair.
And also mentioning Papasan, such a possessor of power, the way in which he throws strikes. They are all trying to finish the fight in one way or another.
Yeah, you kind of see the difference in like their styles, you know. Henley is kind of all over the place, like someone my size, you know, whereas Papasan really kind of sits down on a lot of his strikes.
Back to it.
Well, I appreciate the sportsmanship from both guys.
Quick closing of distance. Papasan brings out his wrestling bag. Henley keeps it up tight.
Yeah, Papasan had a great shot there, but Henley is just really strong for that position. And it's hard when you're just not able to get the hips. Both these guys have landed nasty leg kicks. And a head kick, too.
Nice snipe by Henley as well.
He's just doing a fantastic job of switching stance. I mean, he almost looks like a TJ Dillashaw, or if you're a fierce fan of Joel Haro, in there at cruiserweight, though. 225.
Clear-cut high kick form moments ago. Another combination to close out round number one.
Yeah, he did a great job in that last exchange of throwing a kick on one side and then throwing the hand on the same side. So quick for his size.
I'll be completely honest with you, David. I don't know if I've seen a striking skill set that deep of a guy his size. As for Cody Papasan, he has his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I think Papasan just needs to be a little more patient. He was doing a great job of kicking the lower leg of Henley, and I think he needs to continue to do that and then kind of corral him to set him up for that snipe.
Also, we'll mention the wrestling background that he has. As for Henley, how rare is it to see this type of guy? The way in which he's moving, like you mentioned, Joel Haro, TJ Dillashaw, these are 135ers you're talking about. 100 pounds heavier is the guy on your screen right now.
No, Henley is like a really fun fighter. I remember watching film in preparation for this and just being blown away by the amount of movement that he has in the cage. And he has a good gas tank on him, too, for his size.
Been to the decision once in his career is Henley. Only the second time in our first 6 fights that we will go to a round number 2. Papasan chokes up on the canvas. Dave Sellystead sends him back, and we'll start it up.
Yeah, I want to see how the body language in each of these fighters change. Papasan's looking a little wide-eyed, but he is throwing back.
Both guys looking for that kill shot.
Great throw for Papasan. I think Papasan's landing a little bit more this round. Kind of has Henley on the back foot.
Some blood coming from the beak of Cody Papasan. We got another low blow.
Oh, the other way, though.
Idaho Falls crowd vents their frustration. Papasan very open, talking about where he's at, but you never like to see that in back-to-back rounds.
You know, it's sometimes difficult, especially the amount that they were moving back and forth. It changes the range, right? So in one moment, Henley was in the correct range to throw that inside kick. And then in the next moment, yeah, it kind of landed in the wrong place.
Moving targets, always going to be a part of this sport, no doubt about it. Cody Papasan now in a world of pain, evened up at 1 apiece, David.
That's
Kim.
what I'm saying, man. I think it's a fair ball game at this point.
Another stop in the action. Had one in round number 1. Now have one in round number 2.
You know, when you think of it, though, and almost like, you know, unintentionally, it makes this fight very interesting because they're having these bigger breaks. You know, it allows for a lot more explosion. So we'll kind of see if these guys can come out swinging.
All even. Henley, quick out of the break.
I mean, the pace that these guys are going at their size is just extraordinary, right? And obviously the pauses in the action kind of help. Henley with a fantastic switch kick.
So fast with it. Nice combination to follow.
You hear Papasan's corner saying a little more motivational type stuff right now. Just kind of trying to will him through this fight.
His first fight since April of 2023. Again, it has been a long layoff after a loss up in Montana.
You can kind of see what Papasan's trying to do. He's trying to kind of stand his ground. And another one.
A second offense. You got to start wondering if a point deduction is imminent.
Could be.
Some blood now spews down. Dave Selystead will take the time to clean it up. In a world of pain is Cody Papasan after a second strike below the belt. Brandon Henley, the aggressor.
What's frustrating is this fight has been awesome. And it just keeps getting paused, you know.
And this time around, Henley seated for a few moments. Let's take another look.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You know, these guys are just kind of moving in and out. Straight back to, you're more likely to hit the groin. Oh, interesting.
Dave Selystead will take a point, and that is a massive momentum shift for a guy like Brandon Henley, who has been doing so well through the first 2 rounds.
I mean, I'm not as great as the judges next to us, but I probably would have had it for Henley at least up to this point. You know, he was definitely landing more. This definitely changes the dynamic of the fight. If it's a tied-up round or potentially different, you know, could it be something else?
Papasan still not 100% by any means, still wincing.
I mean, obviously you're wearing a cup, right? But, like, it's still a lot of damage, and, you know, to your lower organs and intestines, especially for people who, like, you know, us fighters, we have a certain diet. We have all these different changes, you know, especially if you're cutting weight. Like, it can really affect you to get kicked.
Also the power in which it's happening with these two guys, the mere size alone, and the speed in which Brandon Henley is striking as well. 2 of those inside of 3 minutes will take down just about anybody.
And I think if you're Henley, you just got to stay focused. You know, obviously it sucks to lose a point, but you got to still win this fight and not leave it to the scorecards in this situation, you know, or not leave anything to chance. Papasan's not looking great, though, shaking his head. His corner's not looking too happy either. We're talking to the doctor now.
Our cage side physician, Doc Murdoch, talking through the cage. We'll see if it opens up. There is a 5-minute limit. We don't know the exact time on it, but Doc Murdoch has stepped away from the cage, for those who don't have that angle. Papasan looks like he wants to say green light. Nearing the halfway point of round 2.
I think Dave just made a gentleman's agreement that kicks above the waist for the rest of the fight.
Outside kick to open up for Henley.
Papasan still got some pop on him, though.
Quick pause in action between the two. Quick conversation. Looks like it might have grazed more than anything.
Yeah, if I'm Henley, I'm not taking chances. I'm kicking the outside or up towards the head.
Papasan paws that one out. He'll land.
Now, Papasan has an interesting way. He definitely pauses punches. He kind of throws them with the tops of his knuckles. And he's just struggling with Henley's speed and power, honestly. I mean, can't even get to the clinch or a takedown.
Supremely athletic is Brandon Henley. With about 30 seconds remaining in round number 2, you got to wonder about scorecards if we have 3.5 more minutes of action, what that looks like with the point deduction, David.
Yeah, and it's difficult. These are kind of the situations where, yeah, you really can't leave it to the judges because it really does affect the scoring in a 10-9 must system.
More bruising kicks on the side of Henley. Straight through the guard of Papasan.
Papasan's almost looking like a deer in the headlights a little bit, just kind of frozen.
And how much of that can be damage accrued over the past 3 minutes with 2 low blows?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a partially that, but also, like, Henley's just doing a good job of hitting him in the face, you know, over and over, different angles, switching his stance. I think he's kind of having a hard time, you know, system overload of knowing what's coming.
It has been pause and go thus far through 6 minutes of MMA action, a whole lot in between it as well. Brandon Henley heads to a 3rd round. Cody Papasan, he's in the 3rd round as well, and again, a lot longer time away from the cage. As for Henley, he did fight in November of last year. Papasan hunched over in his corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big factor. The ring rust is kind of real, and that activity really is important too.
We'll note this, Papasan down from heavyweight in this one. He was 255 when he fought here 3 years ago, 222 on the dish last night.
Yeah.
Dave Selystead giving stern warnings. Doesn't want any more pauses in the action for any illegal strikes. 3rd and final round we go.
Yeah, I mean, Henley's clearly the fresher fighter, but Papasan has the power to finish it with one punch. His corner, Papasan's corner, is just going berserker right now, begging him to sling the leather.
Clean connection on the chin by Cody Papasan just moments ago. Henley absolutely ate it.
Yeah, you're starting to see some bigger breaths from Henley, but he's doing a good job. I mean, right now he was in an open stance, switching back and forth, making it really difficult for Papasan to kind of follow.
Unbelievable gas tank by Henley to still have so much pop on every single shot. He gets another one there. The Idaho Falls crowd loves it.
Yeah, I definitely want to pick his brain after this fight and see what type of conditioning he's doing, because at his size, and I mean, he looks like a strong guy too. Does a great job. But Papasan's not out of this. I mean, he's still coming forward, has his eye on the prize, and straight punches just like that. They're kind of going through the guard.
Papasan takes more damage. So much blood coming through those nostrils now, David.
Yeah, that one might have broke his nose. It looked like it popped pretty bad.
Beautiful return by Papasan.
Yeah, it seems like kind of a classic. Papasan's throwing the one big one. Henley's throwing the combinations. But what I like from Henley is he's lining up his rear hand and just darting punches down the pipe. Whereas Papasan, has a little longer reach and is able to still get those shots off, but it's kind of one at a time versus 2 and 3.
55 ticks to go. Round number 3, as we will potentially see scorecards for the first time this evening.
I mean, at this point, Henley's just doing more volume as well, you know, and that's a factor.
Idaho Falls absolutely backs their local fighters. What a war it has been between these two at 225. Papasan steps inside for a couple of connections late.
They're going to come to the middle. Let's see what happens.
What a fight. Out of gas at the end for the two, but unbelievable output through 9 minutes.
Both fighters, I mean, Papasan just showed his grit and his toughness. Like, that was a tough fight for him. And Henley, I mean, looked like honestly, like a real talent.
Same can be said about Cody Papasan, who had some big moments, especially late there, David. Some of those strikes really went through the guard of Brandon Henley. He looked good as well. We'll have to see what the Idaho State Athletic Commission has to say.
And that's the real question is, like, what is a judge looking at? Because some of those shots from Papasan were nasty. He got the extra point earlier in the second round. So, like, who knows where this fight can land.
All smiles from Brandon Henley. He thinks he's gotten it done, barring that point deduction. Nick Mansholder, Nicola Prevost in his corner alongside Zach Partridge as well. His fierce debut, but a guy that I think a lot of Utah fans are going to want to see again.
Oh, yeah, this guy is definitely at the top of my list for people I want to watch moving forward, especially at the bigger weight classes.
A win would be 3 in a row for him. It would be a second decision. Again, scorecards being tallied at the moment, so a little bit of a delay. But the judges here, as well as those in Utah, have been pretty synchronous throughout this year, really finding common ground. It's been basically identical in terms of the judges' scorecards the entire year of 2026 thus far.
Yeah, speaking to some of the judges earlier, they were saying that they have full synergy, that every single round they've been scoring the exact same, which is a very special thing, meaning that our judges are very well prepared for this type of event.
They will be down at Crown Fighting Championship in St. George tomorrow evening as well, not to mention Dave Selyestead and Tyler Tomlinson as well. Cody Papasan looked really solid as well, David, for his first fight in 2.5 years.
No, I think this really showed his grit, and both of these men should be proud.
All right, questions set to become answers. Into the center, we've got hopes.
Fierce fans, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. All 3 judges score this contest 29-27, declaring the winner by unanimous decision, the Boogeyman, Brandon Henley.
3 in a row for Brandon Henley. Incredible win by him off of those scorecards. More Fierce Fighting Championship 46 right after this.
The 2026 Harley-Davidson motorcycles are rolling in, forged from tradition, steel, and soul. Each one engineered for the ride, with the performance, style, and presence that define Harley-Davidson. They're not just motorcycles. They're American craftsmanship on 2 wheels. And they're impossible to ignore.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk, as well as additional information on future shows. So what a prelim coverage it has been. 6 fights, 5 finishes. One still remains at 185 pounds. Santiago Izucar, Michael Pfeiffer.
Fierce fans, our final fight of the preliminary card is brought to you by Rockwell Watches, the official watch and sunglasses of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Michael Pfeiffer and then Santiago Izucar, to the cage.
No time spent on the sidelines. Right back in action is Michael Pfeiffer. David, he's coming off a performance that he claims wasn't an accurate representation of his skills. He's healthy. He says he wants to bounce back quick.
You know, in the fight preview, I think Zach Partridge summed it up perfectly, that he's been working on his mental strength and his mental game when it comes to MMA, because this kid has all of the talents to be a future legitimate prospect in MMA.
Michael Pfeiffer, all business as he looks to get back on track. He won 4 straight over a 20-month span. Snapped late last year. He looks to get back to his winning ways tonight. And like you mentioned, he has all the intangibles, an 80-inch reach, 6'4", an incredible striker.
Yeah, and I think it was honestly a great experience for him, even though it's horrible to lose and it's not fun. But to fight somebody like Dalton with that much wrestling and grappling ability, I think it was a great lesson for him. And I'm hoping that he can come back and show us what he's got.
First time prepping for 9 minutes rather than 15 since June of 2024. Back inside is the former amateur middleweight champion, Michael Pfeiffer. So I don't know how cleanly that came through, but apparently the doctor is in the back. So that all being said, Michael Pfeiffer inside, and David, kind of a peculiar situation as Pfeiffer is wrapped, ready to go. Speaking with Tyler Tomlinson, he's got to await Santiago Izucar because we can't press play until Doc is back.
Yeah, I mean, as they say, safety first, right? But Dr. Murdoch's the best in the game. I don't know, as a fan, you might not know him too well, but he does so much for these fighters. And yeah, I mean, came all the way up from Utah to come help out with this card, and we're grateful for him. But I'm sure he's checking up on the previous fighters who just had a full-out war. Yeah, so we'll wait for him patiently, I guess.
Stretched thin, and in that situation, you see Michael Pfeiffer trying to stay warm. We are right above ice right now, David, and that's got to be tough for the fighter trying to get back to his winning ways.
Yeah, I know. My feet are a little frosty right now. So, yeah, I'm sure if I was half naked in the cage, I'd feel the same way. Yep.
What's your mindset like in that situation?
You know, I think everyone's different. I know for me, when I've had these stalls in the action or stalls in the production, you just got to stay focused and you just got to be in the moment. I think for me, this is like the time that I'm just grateful to be doing something that I have always wanted to do, you know, and ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a fighter and wanted to be a martial artist. So I think that you got to do the same thing and just be kind of like embracing the moment.
Michael Pfeiffer back in Idaho Falls, where he won his first fight over 2 years ago here at the Mount America Center versus Kenny Bradfield. That was a little bit of a controversial one, but it started him on an incredible streak that, again, got him to an amateur title.
You know, just like a lot of these earlier fights where we had like 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds fighting and looking pretty good, I remember watching him for that fight and thinking he was like really talented and had a lot of potential. He's kind of built and grown into his body a little bit more. He was a lot skinnier back then, training with the one-hit guys that are all shredded and big and tough. I think it's really helped him grow up into this sport, and even still at a young age, he looks way physically bigger than he once was a couple years ago when he was here.
Back-to-back fights have gone to the scorecards. Both title bouts, both 15 minutes. And like mentioned right before Santiago Izucar was supposed to walk, that is a massive difference in terms of time spent inside. His gas tank is primed for 3 3-minute rounds.
Yep. No, yeah, so I think it's just one of those things where there is a little bit of a discrepancy on like the amount of cage time, but Izucar is also a very well-seasoned, trained athlete. He's had a few tough wars in this cage specifically, so I'm excited to see how it goes for these two.
We'll bring out Santiago Izucar right now. Third straight from the Mountain America Center for Santiago Aizukar. David, it was a short-lived third fight, but began the career 2-0 as he tries to get back to that trend tonight.
Yeah, I know his last fight didn't go his way, but the past couple times in Idaho Falls before that, he looked so great. The thing that really stuck out to me is just a slick jiu-jitsu player. This guy has it on the ground.
Has a victory by guillotine in November of 2024, a sturdy chin as well. It has been hit with some heavy shots in the past and kept coming forward, certainly tough as nails.
Yeah, I think the key to victory for him is just making sure that he can utilize that grappling, use those long limbs of Pfeiffer to get a submission or some sort of position where he can dominate.
Interestingly enough for Santiago Aizukar, his third straight one-hit MMA opponent, Vincent Vanisi, James Prescott, and now Michael Pfeiffer, all coming out of that Layton gym.
Yeah, I guess there's just some vendetta against, the Layton one-hit boys or something. Idaho versus Utah. That's kind of what makes it fun, though, is, these multi-state, rivalries, and, you get to fight people from different areas, cultures.
Santiago Aizukar been on 3 straight Mountain America Center shows for Fierce FC. He is a staple when we come up here to Idaho Falls. Some middleweight aces for the prelim headliner. Aizukar's got a dozen years longer on his life. He stands significantly shorter than the 6'4" Utah talent, Michael Pfeiffer. No issues on the middleweight scale as Aizukar searches for win number 3. Pfeiffer knocks on the door of number 5. Over to Jackson to push start on this one.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the amateur middleweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 4 wins and 2 losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed in at 184 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from San Diego, California, Suburban Mike Pfeiffer. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 185 pounds. Fighting out of Omens Martial Arts and Vibe Jiu-Jitsu, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Santiago Aizukar. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
Featured prelims supported by Rockwell, designers of the official Champions Watch of Fierce FC. Michael Pfeiffer swings in black. Santiago Aizukar wears green.
Something interesting to me is both of these guys look real calm coming in.
Saw Michael Pfeiffer all business on his end during Hoops's introduction. Top of round 1 we go.
The thing that I love when I watch Pfeiffer fight is his feints and the ability for him to rotate his hips and make you think he's coming. It's pretty impressive.
Wanted a big-time home run hit. Santiago Aizukar capitalizes.
And this is the question. I'm sure Aizukar saw Pfeiffer's last fight, saw what Dalton could do, and was like, hey, I could kind of do a little bit of that. Similar build.
Pfeiffer was controlled for about 60% of that title bout versus Lane Dalton. They'll separate.
I'm sure that's a big relief to Pfeiffer, just being able to defend those takedowns a little bit. See if he can do it here again.
Did such a good job in it versus Linnell Woodhouse to win the amateur title in August of last year.
Yeah, Dalton's a different type of beast, and, Aizukar might not have the same level of wrestling pedigree, but I do know that if it does go to the ground, Aizukar is very dangerous, both top and bottom jiu-jitsu.
Has attempted to close distance in just about every fight he's ever had. Pfeiffer with a vicious knee up the middle.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see from Pfeiffer, is powerful knees and good frames from that position. And, as a young fighter, this is like the perfect opportunity for him to gain these skills now at, 21, So when he's 25 and he's a pro and he fights the D1 wrestler or the, jiu-jitsu world champion, like, he can defend it.
Izukar, a clear-cut game plan for him. Pfeiffer has wrapped around for that guillotine attempt a couple of times, David.
Yeah, I don't know how committed he is to actually finishing, and Izukar's doing a great job of pressuring Pfeiffer on the cage so we can't actually, like, get the guillotine choke. But I think that Pfeiffer kind of has this mentality of, hey, like, I don't need to really move as long as I'm doing damage and I'm staying patient, you know?
Right back to the wrestling. Stuck on Pfeiffer right now is Santiago Izukar. 25 seconds to go, round 1.
Yeah, I mean, Pfeiffer did a great job of getting off the cage, but, paused, hesitated for a little bit, and Izukar was able to get back in on the single.
Pfeiffer able to stay upright and now begins to unload in the waning seconds of round 1. Good spot, Izukar fighting back, David.
Yeah, that was a really good start for Pfeiffer. Being able to sprawl on that takedown, force the guard pull, and then get straight to mount for the ground and pound.
David, how interesting is it that you look back at the Lane Dalton fight, Michael Pfeiffer taken down in the first 12 seconds of that fight. We mentioned how long he was controlled. Now he doesn't have to worry about that as much. He's felt the pressure of Santiago Izukar. He's been able to stay upright and actually move to mount in the final seconds of the round.
Well, this is why people like Pfeiffer are going to succeed in MMA, is because they're willing to take fights against the Daltons of the world and other tough fights that they know might be a tough night out for them. And that's what you're supposed to do as an amateur. So I think it just goes to kind of his character and what his coaches, Aldo and the other people around him are telling him to do. It's a good thing.
All intensity out of his hand. Santiago Izukar, though, posing a lot of issues in terms of his wrestling pedigree. The way in which he has closed distance in the first 3 minutes, impressive.
Yeah, he's looked really good. It's just that final exchange, he kind of got off balance and got overforced to the bottom. But if I were him, I would get the single leg, put the pressure on, but then actually pull him off of the cage. That's kind of the next step that he's missing. He's doing a great job of getting Pfeiffer to the cage and clinching, but not finishing.
Table tipping leg kick.
I might have wobbled him a little bit.
Pfeiffer in his bag right now. Nice short strike lands as well. Back to that guillotine attempt. This is the place in which Santiago has been caught before.
And, Pfeiffer's doing a great job, but he just wasn't able to get his elbow down low enough and the other elbow high. He needs to kind of readjust it so it's right on the carotid. But as far as a takedown defense, looked great to me.
Another spinning attack from Michael Pfeiffer. He is so entertaining, David.
He's dangerous, man.
Beautiful crisp shot lands for Michael Pfeiffer. Izukar, so stubborn in his attempts to grapple.
And it's tough as a short guy, I know. When your opponent's a lot longer, your goal from this position is to lock your hands. But when the person's sprawling out wide, they have a long, almost like a karate stance, makes it really difficult to get those hands together, and you kind of get stalemated on the cage.
Still on his feet is Michael Pfeiffer. Izukar gets the tables flipped on him.
And that was a great Uchimata. That was a fantastic judo throw. And if you look at the body language, Pfeiffer's just kind of like, whatever. I'll just stand back up and keep going. Throw a few knees. No big deal.
Another heavy one just landed a few moments ago.
It's really good to see kind of the maturity at Pfeiffer. And, he's been in deep waters, and now he kind of knows how it goes. Staying calm and preserving his energy. Izukar just used a ton of energy to try to take him down. That gas tank. And he has a good one, but who knows how long it will last.
Bats a couple more knees to the body. Michael Pfeiffer looks to chase the back.
Yeah, I'm interested to see it. Tables are turning with the grappling if he can finish right here. It's underneath the chin.
Izukar has been submitted before by a rear naked choke. It was James Prescott in March of last year.
And I think Pfeiffer did the right thing there because he had the choke underneath, but the cage was kind of in the way. And now he has it on the right side, and he's able to finish the choke here potentially.
Plenty of time to work. There's the tap. Michael Pfeiffer with a tight squeeze to get back on track.
And after his last fight, that must feel nice.
A finish for Michael Pfeiffer, his first since June of 2024. It was versus Taylor Mafileo. And that has got to feel so good for Michael Pfeiffer after a very disappointing loss late last year.
I mean, go back and watch his last fight and just the desperation, like the anxiety on his face. Whereas this one, he looked so calm. Even when he was getting taken down or in bad positions, he didn't flinch at all. Really impressive performance.
So composed. Not massive smiles on his end. You got to wonder what he was hoping for in this one, but always been tough on himself. Comes over and says he appreciates the broadcast booth. We appreciate Michael Pfeiffer for the performances he puts on. He is a consistent guy. And on the other side, Santiago Azucar, again, a familiar face to this Idaho Falls crowd. Another very formidable foe. Excited to see what he does next. To concrete this one, we're going to send it over to Jackson Hopes.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 36 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Suburban Mike Pfeiffer.
Back for Michael Pfeiffer, now 2-0 in Idaho Falls. A title fight is right on your heels in a matter of minutes from the Mountain America Center. Those in a pair of belts to be decided back in Idaho Falls. This is Fierce FC 46, presented by R&R Barbecue. Happy to have you back with us. Blake O'Rulian alongside David Kim. 4 pro fights conclude the show, but starting the main card coverage is visiting amateur champion Kiani Benali, fresh off a win in November, and the MMA veteran Chloe Chaos Becker.
Fierce fans, welcome to the main card. Everybody tuning into the pay-per-view and everybody here at the Mountain America Center, put your hands together and make some noise. Our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Gold's Gym Idaho Falls, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome these 2 title fighters, the champion, Kiani Benali, and then the challenger, Chloe Becker, to the cage.
First defense for the Fierce FC amateur flyweight champion Kiani Benali. David, it was a steady outpour of strikes that got her that title, now in a away game, as she looks to maintain her championship status.
Her championship fight against Hannah Silva was such an amazing performance, and we're going to see if she can, double up on that, defend that belt. But she is one of the most dynamic strikers and grapplers in the women's division.
Yeah, back-to-back bouts with experienced amateurs as well. 10-fight Hannah Silva, now an 8-fight Chloe Becker.
Yeah, she's and she might be only 3-1 with 4 amateur fights, but she is definitely one of the more seasoned women on our team, and it's just such a nightmare to spar with. Let me tell you, in a moment you get thrown on your back or you're getting hit with an overhand. She's just like one of those lightning quick fighters.
Yeah, often looked at as a grappler, but underrated dexterity, her kicks, she aims high and has a lot of accuracy. She drew blood of Hannah Silva in the first frame of their fight in November.
Yeah, I've been hit with that a few times, not expecting it from like the 5'2" Kiani, and all of a sudden I get hit in the head and I'm like, oh boy. So yeah, she's very sneaky.
Really found her rhythm and showed off that striking in the title win last year. She will look for her first title defense. Kiani Benali had the fight of the night in the process of obtaining the title, wants to match that output in this first ever title defense opportunity. Been competing in jiu-jitsu dating back to 2021, has had a lot of success on the local circuit. she'll look to continue that success alongside Chloe Becker. Well, with the win to close 2025, 2026 starts off with a bang for Chloe Becker. David, she's won 2 of her last 3 leading up to this title opportunity in her home state.
Yeah, the best way that I can describe Chloe is she's always coming forward. Whether it's striking or grappling, she is always taking the fight to her opponent.
Originally from a wrestling background, played softball at a high level, and in high school, her coach asked her to come in and train since she knew how to wrestle and has not looked back ever since. Her 9th amateur fight began in October of 2022 at 18 years old.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those amateur fighters that I think we could see Chloe Becker be pro pretty soon in the next few years because she definitely has the experience and she's talented enough to make it there.
Yeah, plenty of experience. Spent some time at Extreme Couture a few years ago. An explosive style like you talked about. Her fierce appearance commenced with a whole lot of strikes in July of last year versus Hannah Silva as well.
Yeah, she had a phenomenal performance. I believe that was in Price, actually, and she just did a great job. Obviously got caught with the armbar, but she still looked great in that fight.
Mixes in her takedowns well alongside her striking. Amateur flyweight title up for grabs. Here's your tail of the tape. Becker, the younger but taller fighter tonight by 3 inches. Both limbo the championship rim, half a pound on there with a 9th amateur fight for the Idaho talent, 3-1 for the incumbent, Kiani Benali.
Fans, when this fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Selyusted. This fight is scheduled for 5 rounds for the Fierce Fighting Championship Amateur Flyweight title. Introducing the challenger, fighting out of the red corner, holding an amateur record of 4 wins and 4 losses. She stands 5 feet 4 inches tall and weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Team No Excuse, hailing from Kuna, Idaho, Chaos Chloe Becker. And introducing her opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, holding an amateur record of 3 wins and 1 loss. She stands 5 feet 1 inch tall and also weighed in at 124 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, hailing from the Navajo Nation, the reigning, defending, undisputed flyweight champion, Kiani Benali.
All right, ladies, been over the rules in the back already. Just gonna go over those big ones again. Stay off the top, back of the head, neck, and spine, and keep your fingers out of the cage. This is still an amateur fight, so the only thing that strikes the head is either a punch or a kick. Got it? Yeah. Touch them up, let's have a good fight.
Longtime supporter of the show, Gold's Gym, brings you this bout. Become the strongest version of you at Gold's Gym. Kiani Benali, the champion in black. Chloe Becker challenges in blue.
You know, one interesting thing is even though, you know, Chloe's the Idaho fighter, Kiani got a huge shout out from the crowd when they said she was from the Navajo Nation, which is really cool.
Both pretty equidistant in terms of distance from Idaho Falls. Kiani Benali out of Provo, Utah. Chloe Becker from Nampa, Idaho, way up north.
And this is kind of what Kiani can do is her wrestling ability is so impressive on the cage. But, you know, as we mentioned earlier, Chloe also has that wrestling pedigree. And for women's wrestling, that's not normal. You know, it's becoming more normal as women's wrestling is growing. It's one of the fastest sports in America, but
Kiani with a beautiful outside trip to mat the Nampa fighter.
We actually call that a Casoto hook, where you're reaping on the outside of the leg. Yeah, it's a sweet takedown. It really literally sweeps you off your feet, and she's already on the back. Having a hard time keeping those hooks in. Chloe's doing a great job of rotating around and making sure that that top hook stays out, but Kiani was able to get it in. Now we would need to see if Kiani can keep the position, but a great reversal right into an armbar.
Becker has struggled with guard players before, been hit with an armbar as well as a couple of triangles over the course of her career.
And great job from Kiani. Even though she lost it, she switched to the K-guard, going for a knee bar, but now she's kind of getting stuck on bottom as Chloe throws some ground and pound.
Beautiful work to get this one back down to the mat. Kiani Benali searches for more submissions. Becker blows from the top.
And this is one of the difficult parts. You know, obviously jiu-jitsu's great, but sometimes in those leg entanglements or from the bottom, you still can get hurt because there's punches, you know, and you got to be careful. And Kiani's got to be careful not to up kick here too. Obviously that being illegal in amateur and pro from this position.
Another slick reversal. Benali sits back. Already some blood coming from the nose of the champion.
A great kick from the bottom. And Kiani, she's doing a great job from a jiu-jitsu sense. But, you know, in fighting, yeah, sometimes you can get stuck in these positions. Another great kick, though. If I'm Chloe Becker, I might kind of let her up, honestly.
More leg entanglements. Kiani wrestles up.
She's going for the 10-finger choke right here. Chloe Becker is.
Becker has one submission victory from March of 2025.
Great knee from Kiani, but Chloe's doing a great job keeping the pressure.
Solid first round by both. Shining moments for the two. Kiani Benali clearly wants to do a little bit of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, if I'm Dane or Court or Thomas in her corner, I am asking her to use the jiu-jitsu to get to the better position, not just the submission. It seems like she's getting a little fixated on that. Whereas Chloe, if I'm in her corner, I'm telling her to honestly just be careful of the arm bars and the chokes. Like, we have experience getting hurt from these positions, so just be careful. Kiani doing a great job of attacking the submissions, though, and down the road, you know, down the line in the next few rounds, like, that could potentially be something really big. She is a little bloodied up, though, from the ground and pound.
Benali went to a 15-minute decision to take home the amateur flyweight strap a few months back. Chloe Becker's first ever title opportunity on her end.
Yeah, that first round there was a lot of movement, a lot of grappling. Obviously, both these girls have great gas tanks, but
so many sweeps and reversals and all of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of different transitions in that. But I think it's kind of a great look for each person, you know.
A couple of ripping leg kicks open up for Chloe Becker.
Yeah, she's coming on a little hot this round for sure. Though Kiani did land a pretty good straight punch.
Benali wants another hip toss. Becker gets her hips out of the way.
You know, one unique thing that they teach us when we're coaching wrestling, specifically for women, is your center of gravity for women is actually different than men. And if you watch a lot of women's MMA, that's where it kind of leads to a lot of judo throws because, yeah, just the positioning is different with the, you know, physical nature of, like, women versus men.
A couple of nice knees up the middle for Chloe Becker. Her striking is looking really sharp in round number 2, David.
Yeah, I think she kind of felt some of that grappling and was like, I don't want to play with this again. I don't want another Hannah Silva situation. And she's being a little more cautious this round about getting taken down.
I will mention 3 of Chloe's 4 losses have been by submission, so potent analysis by you certainly wants to avoid any tie-ups in that world, especially alongside a jiu-jitsu ace like the champion.
No, Kiani is definitely one of the best women jiu-jitsu fighters, honestly, in the state for the amateur ranks. She's really top-notch. But yeah, this isn't Chloe Becker's first rodeo with a jiu-jitsu specialist either, so.
Becker finds her way to the top. Benali a little bit delayed on her defense.
Yeah, so that was a suplex right there, but unfortunately, you know, it's tough when you're not in the right position to do it, or you're not able to rotate off to the side, off to your shoulder. But she did a good job of recovering and coming back up. A lot of energy, though. Once again, a great Casoto hook, you know, and that's – Kiani's a dangerous lady in there, honestly. She finds a way to kind of get to these great positions.
So creative in the way that she gets there. And Chloe Becker is posing a rapid pace here in round number 2 with about 35 seconds remaining. Back down to the mat we go.
Yeah, that was interesting from Chloe to kind of just pull guard from that position. I think she was feeling a little fatigued. Maybe she wants to keep a little bit of that for the next few rounds. But great job from Kiani to kind of get on top. She just needs to use it.
Strong step over by Benali. A beautiful scramble gets Becker back in an advantageous position.
See, as an amateur, I don't necessarily like going for the knee bars from those positions because they're really tough submissions to finish. You know, as a pro where you're able to heel hook and do different things, it's a completely different story. But in MMA, you still want to do position over submission.
Through 2 rounds, Chloe Becker hands on knees, but looks really solid in frame number 2 specifically.
Yeah, she's looking a little tired. Her body language is not great, but, you know, you never know. Sometimes people kind of get their hands down or their, you know, whatever position they need to be to get their heart rate to go down. Reminds me a little bit, actually, of Hannah Silva versus Kiani. That fight was also very back and forth. And Kiani actually kind of hit a second wind in that fight. So I'm curious to see, because Kiani just used a bunch of energy. I mean, she threw a flipping suplex, you know, for heaven's sakes. Like, she used a lot of energy in that second round. I'm curious to see if she can kind of calm it down and hit that second win that she's known for.
Chloe Becker has been to the decision 4 times in her career, half of her bouts. Same can be said about Kiani Benali. In her 4 bouts, she has gone to the scorecards twice. Again, Benali has gone as far as the 15-minute time frame. As for Chloe Becker, obviously just 9 minutes in her experience. But that being said, still inside of those typical rounds. Number 3 is coming up right now.
Yeah, those 6 minutes, they are a big difference. It doesn't seem like a long time, you know, that's like a YouTube video, but it feels like eternity in there.
Still 3 potential rounds here in this championship bout.
Now, that switch kick was beautiful from Chloe Becker. Great comeback, though, from Kiani, the big overhand.
Strong striking early on.
Yeah, and if I'm in Chloe's corner, I'm telling her to throw kicks.
Big
Not
time.
cold like that, but to throw some up top and then, yeah, land some body kicks or some different things that will slow Kiani down.
Big overhand right landed for Kiani Benali moments ago. Chloe Becker landed one in short distance. More trips trying to be initiated by the champion.
No, Kiani's killing it when it comes to those trips. The Casoto hook right there. The problem is she's done it twice already, and she kind of needs to switch things up. I'd like to see her use her leg closest to Chloe to kind of hike up that other leg to bring it up to a single leg or a different takedown position.
Another trip nearly secured. Becker back up to the feet.
And that's the other thing is Kiani doesn't necessarily need to take her down here. She can do some damage first, expose the body or expose the hips to get the takedown. But I like what I'm seeing from Chloe Becker right now. She is trying really hard to stay, kind of keep her heart rate down, not use a ton of energy. That's kind of what you want in a 5-round fight.
It's incredibly impressive what she's been able to do, specifically in rounds 2 and 3. Benali still cannot mat the opposition right now.
Yeah, if I'm Kiani, I definitely need to pull her off of the cage, use some peppering shots.
Dave Sellystead has seen enough. Separated are the two. Back to the center we go.
Yeah, you got to prove to Dave and to Tyler that you're doing action from those positions. You can't just kind of stall out there.
Becker swung but was short. Benali steps inside and chases the back.
You know, a lot of the times being a shorter fighter is a disadvantage, but for Kiani, sometimes it can be a positive when you can go underneath shots and take the back, and she's so quick.
3 inches shorter is Kiani Benali, 5'1". Chloe Becker, 5'4".
Becker did a great job of reversing that position. Now she's kind of the one on the offense. And you'll see there's definitely a dramatic difference between their grappling styles on the cage.
Becker now chases towards the neck. Final seconds, round number 3.
Good place to finish from.
A huge exclamation point to close out the round, but Kiani Benali almost wrapped up an arm.
She almost just got an arm bar. Holy smokes, in like 2 seconds. Wow. That was
It
tight.
seemed as though Chloe Becker was really taking away the round.
Yeah.
Might still have done it, but an armbar was slipped in there right in the final seconds for Kiani Benali.
That was crazy. She was definitely getting ground and pounded, and then all of a sudden just had that arm cinched up tight with a few seconds left. But I guess we'll wait to see if the judges saw it.
That being said, the strikes that Chloe landed at the end were quite emphatic.
Oh, yeah. Very, very positionally dominant for sure. And I think that's, once again, like we mentioned in the first round, Kiani needs to use her jiu-jitsu to get to the better position, not necessarily the submission. She's going to just get hit more from the bottom.
Another championship round fight for Kiani Benali, Chloe Becker. Uncharted territory for her. Round 4 powered by Gold's Gym, a longtime partner with Fierce Fighting Championship. Happy to have them with us alongside so many incredible businesses here in Idaho Falls. Blake O'Rulian alongside David Kim for your main card coverage live at the Mountain America Center. Stinging leg kick lands for Becker to open up round 4.
Yeah, I'm liking the kicks from Chloe, but she overextends on those big punches, and we get to this grappling exchange right here. I wonder how difficult it is for Kiani, you know, being typically the shorter and smaller fighter in the gym, trying to do a lot of these headlock throws is what she's trying to do, or head and arms. And, you know, it's different when the person's closer to your size, right? And the center of gravity is different. It's easy to do on a tall dude, or I guess compared to her, a tall dude like me, but very different with another fighter of a similar size.
Similar situation against Hannah Silva, who is similar in stature to Chloe Becker.
Yeah.
Back-to-back opponents very, very much so alike in that category. Still trying to get there. Benali able to get a knee down.
And she did a great job of getting to her back now, but she's not able to finish. I mean, Chloe Becker's just doing a great job of standing back up in every position, negating kind of some of that wrestling.
And in the past, Kiani has done such a good job of chasing the back, bear hugging it, and finding themselves down on the canvas. Unable to do so right now, later on in the fight.
Yeah, I think she kind of needs to switch her style. Unfortunately, yeah, if you kind of wait there too long, you can get reversed just like this. But Chloe's doing a great job, obviously having a wrestling background too, and great shot from the back.
Clear-cut opening for the challenger. Wants another one.
It's a good overhand from Kiani. She, once again, she sneaks those in every once in a while.
An absolute firefight right now for the flyweight title.
To me, I feel like there's a momentum shift right now. I feel like Chloe Becker's definitely doing a great job of keeping the fight standing. But, man, Kiani is just ruthless. I mean, she just doesn't care. Just comes forward regardless.
The Idaho State Athletic Commission certainly has their work cut out for them. If we should go to scorecards, about 3 minutes and 20 seconds remain, 1 round still to go.
You know, and it's important for people to remember that, you know, when the striking's equal and when the grappling's equal, it can be really close, but the judges are looking for you know, the dynamic striking versus the effective grappling, you know.
A couple of those lead hammer fists for Chloe Becker land in round number 4.
It's interesting is Chloe's pretty bloodied up too, though, and you know Kiani's doing a great job, but they're both looking a little beat right now.
Over with Johnny Perez and Team No Excuse. David, what is the score going into round number 5 in your eyes?
Oh man, this is tricky. I felt like Kiani for sure had the first round, maybe even the second, but then after that, I mean, that third round was tough because she was landing all of, Chloe Becker was landing all those shots, and then the armbar happened. That last round, however, I felt like the momentum was starting to shift to Chloe. So it could be 2-2 going into the 5th.
Certainly a firefight. So many were curious of how this matchup would play out. The submission game of Kiani Benali, the wrestling and the striking of Chloe Becker. It has been good so far. 3 minutes to decide it. Kiani Benali in her first ever championship defense. Chloe Becker, her first opportunity at some hardware as well.
Well, what's interesting is it almost seems like Kiani's the wrestler in this one, you know. Definitely the dominant wrestling, but Chloe Becker's looked great with those low kicks, straight, sharp punches. Once again, another low kick right there.
Strong teep to the body for Chloe Becker. Spinning back fist lands and now catches a kick.
It's a good kick, but a great takedown too.
Punishing offense from the top for Chloe Becker. Benali wants to play jiu-jitsu. And Benali really trying to time those up kicks right now as well, David.
Yeah, earlier in the fight, she landed 2 nasty ones, like nasty, nasty. I mean, it almost wobbled Chloe Becker, the first one.
Chipping away at the time, Chloe Becker lands a high kick as Benali gets back up to the feet.
Overhand. Kiani just coming straight forward, not giving a hoot's who of who's throwing punches back at her.
A lot of time spent on the back for Benali, nearing the halfway point of the 5th and final round.
But that's what makes this like a great matchup is each of these girls, they have like great components of their game that are really, really, you can see how they've gotten to this position of being in a title fight, right? Or a champion.
And how much of it too, David, is the reps that Chloe Becker has as she lands another beautiful strike?
No, I mean from fights of her past, definitely a little more experience with a powerful one too from Kiani. Kiani's landed that overhand several times in this round. I'm wondering how the judges are going to score that specifically because it's very effective striking. But Chloe's done a great job of spinning, kind of countering some of those shots.
Both fighters trying to grasp onto any gas they have left. Over 14 minutes of fight time, 40 ticks to go, round number 5. An exhaustive pace posed by both.
Yeah, these girls are just leaving it out there, you know, and we knew that going in that they would. They both send it, you know.
And I'll mention this too, Kiani Benali didn't do this that long ago when she fought Hannah Silva. It was a similar output to this, an absolute fight of the night war back in November.
Yeah, no, she's a warrior for sure. You know, I know everyone's been very proud of her.
See what lasting effects you can leave on these judges. Chloe Becker lands a few late. 5 rounds up, 5 rounds down, 10s and 9s. We'll figure this one out.
Yeah, I think only the judges know.
Going to be close. Kiani Benali, a very solid showing. We will have to see how it looks. Chloe Becker came to play today, David.
Yeah, that was a very impressive performance by both girls. I felt like it was kind of one of those things where each of them had their moments, right? But I want to say that I am very impressed with how Chloe was able to finish out a lot of the rounds. You know, once the clapper hit, she kind of finished off a lot of it. But on the flip side, Kiani, I mean, that 5th round, she must have landed like 8 different overhand rights, and Chloe's face is just bashed in right now from it. So it's a question of, like, does the recency bias, right, of, like, finishing the round strong versus, like, the middle or the beginning of the round, how much does that have an effect on the judge's mindset?
So 50-50. Again, Chloe Becker is 3-1 when going to the scorecards. Kiana Benali, 1-1. A win for her would be 4-1 for the record. Chloe Becker would move to 5-4. So much at stake between these two as the scorecards are tallied. What a fight, and so unbelievably evenly matched.
Yeah, these fans in Idaho definitely got their money's worth out of that one. It's been a great night overall. And typically, you know, a lot of people think it's kind of boring to go to 5 rounds, but there was not a boring moment in the entire fight.
So many big moments for both. We had a litany of 1st and 2nd round finishes in our prelim coverage. Not to mention, out of Team No Excuse, we will see Leon Taylor later on. The amateur women's flyweight belt is up for grabs. Zach Partridge has it in hand. Scorecards are in hand as well. Jackson Hoops is ready to belt him out.
Fierce fans, after 5 incredible rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score this contest 49-46, 48-47, and 50-45, declaring the winner by unanimous decision. And new undisputed flyweight champion, Chaos Chloe Becker.
Chloe Becker, how does that feel? A hard-fought decision victory, and you now have some hardware to head home with.
Feels nice and heavy, like that fucking fight. Yes!
How difficult was it preparing for a girl like Kiani, who was coming off an incredible performance, and obviously you driving down from Nampa, Idaho, a long distance for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, never underestimate your opponent, right? You look at her, she's smaller than me. She hits like a truck. Guys, don't mess with her. But, you know, just do the same thing I do every fight camp. I'm not worried about what somebody else can do. I'm focused on what I can do, and I got to be the better fighter.
Chloe, you've been at this for years at this point, your 9th amateur fight. Is this the best moment of your fighting career up to this point?
Up to this point, yeah, but there's many more to come. Don't worry about it.
Final question for me. What's the plans for you for the future?
Keep going. More belts. More fights, more title fights, whatever's next.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Incredible job. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chaos Chloe Becker.
You asked, and we've answered. Jay Brazilian Grill is now partnering with Rodizio Grill to bring meats to your table. Now you can relax and indulge as our gauchos bring picanha top sirloin, glazed pineapple, and more right to you. Enjoy tableside rotation and additional meats at our Gaucho Grill. Come enjoy the new service style at Che by Rodizio Grill. Learn more at chegrill.com.
Scan the QR code on your screen for access to Fierce FC's digital program. Get the inside scoop on every fighter making the walk tonight, as well as additional information on future shows. So amateurs are done. Chloe Becker is your new amateur flyweight champion. Joe Aguirre and Alex Eastman kickstart the pros.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Young Grand Teton Harley Davidson, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Alex Eastman and then Joe Aguirre, to the cage.
An absolute veteran of the Idaho MMA scene, enter Alex Eastman. David, it all started nearly 15 years ago, but built up momentum, winning back-to-back late last year.
Now this is a throwback. If you go to his Tapology page and you look at it, it reminds you of a time when UFC was on the Spike TV and everyone was rocking tap-out T-shirts. But he's still here fighting, which is pretty impressive, and you can tell he kind of knows who's going to win the Super Bowl, I guess.
Yeah, began fighting as an amateur 15 years ago in February of 2011. He started out his pro career 0-17, but has stayed the course over the years. He's gone 3-3 in his last 6.
That is honestly
insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. I would say like maybe 5, 6, 7 fights or something like that, and you might kind of be done. 17 and to still be fighting, that says a lot about Mr. Eastman.
13 straight have ended in the first round for Alex Eastman. It is always exciting. And for Joe Aguirre on the other side of things, they have trained alongside each other a couple of times.
Yeah, apparently there's a little bit of history, both of these guys being OGs of the game from Idaho. Another fun fact about Alex is he actually fought UFC fighter Ricky Simone back in the day. So he's been in there with some really tough dudes.
Turned pro in August of 2013. He is back inside for his 24th professional fight. September of 2018, nearly 7.5 years since Joe Aguirre has heard his music and made that walk. David, he gets in and out in a flash, never gone further than 2.5 minutes as a pro. All 3 were concluded by choke.
Yeah, and once again, another OG from Idaho. His last fight actually was in Bellator, if I'm not mistaken, and, has just a wealth of experience. Even though he, I guess 20 less fights than his opponent, he's still been training for a long time, fighting for a long time. 40 years old, getting in there. Dude's living the dream.
Yeah, 44 years of age, born
44.
March 19th, 1981. Also an amateur from 2009 to 2014. 7-3 was the record, and you are right as well. His first fight this decade, he fought Steven Starwalt on a Bellator card back in 2018. He got back into competing jiu-jitsu in 2023 as well. He's gone 3-1 in his last 4 matches.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are real martial artists, honestly, because I think it's easy for people to fight when they're young. It's easy when you're 21 or 22. When you're 44, completely different.
Big thank you to Che Brazilian Grill for sponsoring this tale of the tape between 2 former training partners. Aguirre is a decade older at 44. Eastman is taller by an inch. 145.5 alongside 142.5 for the 3-fight and 23-fight veterans. Inside for the particulars, here's Hoops.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the professional featherweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 3 wins and 20 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighed in at 145.5 pounds. Fighting out of American Combat Academy, hailing from Blackfoot, Idaho, Alex Beastman Eastman. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding a professional record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighed in at 142.5 pounds. Fighting out of Team Lionheart MMA, hailing from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Joe Aguirre. Aguirre. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
First pair of pros presented by Young Grand Teton Harley-Davidson. Take a test ride today, located right here in Idaho Falls. The active Alex Eastman fashions yellow. Joe Aguirre, first fight this decade, rocks black. So many years of MMA experience between these two inside that cage right now, David.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see people, and obviously these guys have trained together before, but people with this much experience still fighting. Just a reminder, as pros, these guys can throw elbows. You just saw one right there, knees to the face. Very different. Changes a lot of the game.
In on the quick entry, Joe Aguirre steps back on it, now looks for the back.
He's doing a great job. He has a kind of an Iowa ride with his right leg right there, keeping Eastman down. Great top pressure, keeping his chest on his back. See if he can put the hooks in from this position. Hopefully he doesn't get too high. But Eastman's doing a good job of being resilient.
Aguirre does have 2 victories by submission, both of them as a professional. He might want another one. Eastman has been submitted 13 times in his career, and he's got another one. Joe Aguirre, 7.5 years away. Doesn't look like it. Welcome back to MMA, Joe Aguirre. A quick finish, and we called it, David. It was going to be fast either way. It leans the side of the fighter out of Lionheart MMA, 3-1, the new record for him.
Yeah, that was a very impressive win. I mean, it didn't take much for him to just get into the right position, and once he was able to, just did a great job of putting that choke right on, got kind of the short choke to the rear naked choke.
Again, 33 years of MMA experience between these two, 3,366 days since he has gotten his hand raised. Let's give him his next one in just a second. Jackson Hoops making sure he gets his P's and Q's. He'll step inside, and we'll send it to him.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute and 6 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by submission due to a rear naked choke, Joe Aguirre.
Joe Aguirre. I got to tell you, this is your first win since 2016. How does it feel to get your hand raised, my man?
You know, first of all, I got to thank my Lord, Jesus Christ, for letting me do this at 44 years old. You know, also, my beautiful wife for standing right next to me through this whole thing. But got all my kids, my family all up there. So it's a good thing.
I wanted to ask you, how does it feel to be fighting at 44 years old? It's your first fight in 7.5 years.
Oh, man, it feels great. I mean, I train one of the best teams, you know, Team Lionheart. They pushed me, and put me through this. And, I mean, Weston was like, all I want you to do is go out there and represent my thing. And so this fight for tonight was dedicated to Weston.
You've been fighting since 2009. What are the future plans for you?
You know, this was my last fight, guys, right here in Idaho Falls. Me and my wife talked about it, and I think I'm just going to coach and focus on the kids now. So right here in Idaho Falls, Idaho, I'm glad to do my last fight right here.
He has given so much to this state. Ladies and gentlemen, final time, give it up for Joe Aguirre.
this out. Check this out.
So Joe Aguirre, that is his last stand inside of an MMA cage. He has been at this for so many years. Congratulations to him and his wife and his entire family. Well, in the sport of MMA, being talented is vital. Being entertaining is key. And being violent is certainly a plus for the fans. Ammon Garcia, as you will see, is all-encompassing.
Nobody know.
Fierce fans, our next fight of the evening is brought to you by R&R Barbecue, the official food vendor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next two fighters, Ammon Garcia and then Leon Taylor, to the cage.
Well, if you're a fan of violence, you'll enjoy the attributes of Ammon Garcia. David, his 72nd finish last year signaled his arrival to all, and despite a slow start to his pro career, he's on the radar of many.
Ammon Garcia is essentially the Justin Gaethje of the Mountain West. He is your fighter's favorite fighter in regional MMA. That is what Ammon Garcia is.
He has urgency to finish fights. He feels best when he's free to pose a rapid pace. We saw that with his victory over Darian Orban.
Yeah, he's just energy in a bottle that's ready to explode.
An extremely high ceiling. He is one of the most respected names in that active, latent, one-hit MMA gym. A 7-1 amateur from 2021 to 2024, and he has been seemingly on a tear, a little bit of a delayed start to it, but if he can continue to get wins and rack them up, he is a prime prospect for just about any big show.
I mean, as you know, it's once you go pro, it's a level in competition that's completely different than an amateur, and the rounds are different, the dynamics of the sport are different, the weapons you can use are different. So there is a transition period, and Ammon's done a great job. Even though he's lost, and had a draw, he's done great in all of his bouts.
Ammon Garcia back inside, rocking some beautiful red, white, and blue shorts. He'll await Leon Taylor. Third camp in 4 months, back again, is Leon Taylor. David, his homecoming to the sport was short-lived, but no hesitation to return with immediacy alongside another formidable foe.
I think Zach said it best, that he is a throwback fighter. He'll fight anyone at any weight class. He's definitely a breath of fresh air for the promotion.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he was 220 pounds 11 months ago, now fresh as can be at lightweight. He was at 145 a few months ago, up 10 pounds to face Ammon Garcia.
And the rumor is he can make 135 too, which is crazy to me. I mean, it says a lot about Leon. I know he has a wrestling background too, lots of experience. As the kids say, Y2K is kind of the range that he comes from. So he's ready to go. I know Ammon's probably the A side on this, but you really can't count Leon Taylor out.
First time fighting back in Idaho since April of 2019. Also the fastest turnaround for him since April of 2019. Leon Taylor been around this game for quite some time. He has dropped his last 3 in a row, but he is hungry to compete at any opportunity. He was away from the game from 2019 to 2025. Again, his 3rd scheduled fight since October of last year.
Also, he fought a teammate of Ammon Garcia and Teak Vigil a little bit, so.
FFC 46 tail of the tapes queued up with Che Brazilian Grill. 8 years younger and 3 inches taller is Ammon Garcia. Weight was no issue last night by the pair. 2-4 resides with Leon Taylor. Garcia eyes a 2nd professional win. Over to the center, Jackson Hoops is ready to go.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the professional lightweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of One Hit MMA, hailing from Indio, California, Ammon Treta Garcia. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding a professional record of 2 wins and 4 losses. He stands 5 feet 7 inches tall and also weighed in at 155 pounds. Fighting out of Team No Excuse MMA, hailing from Nampa, Idaho, Leon the Lion Taylor. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Dave Selyestedt.
So much excitement surrounds this one. Leon Taylor wears black, Ammon Garcia on the road in blue. First frame is brought to you by R&R Barbecue, the official food vendor of Fierce FC. Dave Selyested's second to last assignment. He also has Anthony Castro and Cunny Correa coming up in a matter of minutes. Stiff jab lands for Garcia. Taylor retreats. Unbelievably fast off that attack for Ammon Garcia, David.
Crisp, too.
Swinging overhand, Garcia gets it down to the mat. Sends a piston down towards the canvas.
You wonder if that's a part of his game plan, honestly, is to get him down to the ground to use his jiu-jitsu. I know Taylor has some experience on the ground.
2 victories by submission as a professional, most recently January of 2019.
I mean, when fighting someone like Ammon, you wonder what your, mentality is and kind of your game plan.
Down again! That will call it a streaking Ammon Garcia with an absolute bullseye to close it in round 1. Ammon Garcia, so impressive, but also so composed to not follow up a walk-off KO for that man, Ammon Garcia.
Made it look easy, honestly. Made it look easy. I mean, here's the thing is, Leon Taylor was moving backwards, didn't have his feet planted, and I mean, Ammon, probably being a weight class or 2 bigger, just had way more power and just was able to put him down with 1 punch.
So that is back-to-back for Ammon Garcia. The last time he went back-to-back was when he was an amateur in February of 2024 to capture the Fierce FC amateur lightweight title. Ammon Garcia starting to get the wheel rolling as a professional. That is now 2 in a row for him. So clean, so composed, an incredible performance by him. Happy as can be, and took Leon Taylor so seriously, went to dinner with him last night and was talking about the fact that he cannot take this fight lightly, knowing, like you mentioned, that on paper maybe it didn't seem like that competitive of a matchup, but he was taking this fight seriously. He wanted to work on things, and he certainly showed off in plenty of ways.
I mean, at the end of the day, no matter who you're in there with, you have to take it seriously. Anyone can throw up a submission. Anyone can throw a head kick knockout. Anyone can accidentally shove you against the wall and you tear your ACL. Like anything can happen in that cage, and so you gotta take it seriously. And I think it shows a lot of maturity from Ammon to not mess around in there and just get the job done.
2 wins, 2 knockouts. Ammon Garcia gets his flowers.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyeset has called a stop to this contest at 54 seconds of the very first round. Declaring the winner by knockout, Ammon Treta Garcia.
Ammon, good to have you here, man. 2 wins in a row, 2 knockouts. You are really off to the races right now as a professional.
Yes, sir. That's how it's supposed to be. I'm working hard.
What was the plan going into this fight? Did you want to work on things? Were you planning to snipe that way?
I never come in here with a plan. It gets way too complicated. When you get punched in the face and your plan goes out the window, that's where fighters freak out. I just come in, and then I just do what I do.
Ammon, you are a guy that everybody wants to see as often as possible. When's the next time fans can plan to see you inside the Fierce cage?
I'm not hurt, so ASAP. Get me back in.
Cannot wait for it. Ammon Garcia, congratulations. Give it up for Ammon Garcia.
And I would just like to thank my team, my family, and all my friends coming out to support me. Thank you guys. And then also, Leon Taylor stepped in on short notice and came up a weight class to fight me. A lot of guys fucking said no, and he didn't, so please give a round of applause for my opponent.
Ammon Garcia.
These panels are built for earthquakes and tested in hurricanes. You can't see strength at a glance, but when it comes to structure, SIPs don't play around. Each panel is pressure laminated for composite strength, lab tested to handle over 3,000 pounds per linear foot, resists wind uplift, seismic forces, and racking better than stick framing, meets and exceeds most residential and commercial code requirements. Why? Because a SIP acts like one continuous structural unit, no studs, gaps, or weak spots every 16 inches. This isn't guesswork, it's structural science. But don't let the simplicity fool you. These panels are overbuilt for real-world performance. Follow us to learn how to build smarter.
The 2026 Harley-Davidson motorcycles are rolling in, forged from tradition, steel, and soul. Each one engineered for the ride, with the performance, style, and presence that define Harley-Davidson. They're not just motorcycles, they're American craftsmanship on 2 wheels. And they're impossible to ignore.
So Ammon Garcia wants to be back as soon as possible, and if you are listening to David Kim and you say he is your favorite fighter's favorite fighter, then you should keep a look out for Ammon Garcia. 2 wins in a row for him. Also 2 wins in a row for Dakota Growth. 1 straight win for Javier Beltran and an unbeaten amateur record as well prior to. That all being said, let's bring him out with Jackson Hoops.
Fierce fans, our co-main event of the evening is brought to you by Whole Shot Plumbing, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our next 2 fighters, Dakota Growth and then Javier Beltran to the cage.
Two straight, looking to make it 3 is Dakota Growth. David, he got back into action in September of last year, seemingly unscathed since with 2 first-round submissions.
Yeah, this guy is definitely a very talented submission specialist, beating Hal Mitchell and Lehigh Dominguez last year. Really talented fighter. I think this is going to be maybe the fight of the night, if I can even say that.
Yeah, I mentioned this in his last fight as well, but he wrestled in Hawaii with 2-time PFL world champion Ray Cooper. Comes from that grappling, judo, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu world.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're able to dictate where the fight goes, it mitigates your risk, and it makes the fight so much easier on your own terms. So I'm excited to see if Dakota can do that here.
Dictate he certainly has. 2 for 2 on takedowns in his last 2 fights. They have been in the opening seconds of the first round. His 3rd fight in 5 months for the Vernal welterweight. Well, despite the heater Dakota Growth has been on, an unbeaten Idaho prospect in Javier Beltran looks to stop him in his tracks tonight. Looking to make magic in the Mountain America Center again is Javier Beltran. David, it was another TKO in the pro debut. Did that in every walk as an amateur. Question is, can he continue that success tonight?
With only 4 amateur fights, he made his pro debut and looked absolutely stunning getting that win. Also had a win in boxing as well as a pro, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he actually boxed growing up and came over to MMA because the boxing gym that he was training at had closed down. So he has been in this game for quite some time, MMA specifically a little bit later on. But he fought Eric Tier here last year, 0-8, now a streaking Dakota Growth. Quite the jump in competition for him tonight.
Yeah, I think this is going to say a lot about his experience level, you know. And even though boxing's a different sport, it's still a combat sport. So we'll see if he can use that here tonight.
All right, some co-main chaos pending. Growth, the senior at 31, also 1 inch taller. No hindrances on the square last night. Unbeaten is Javier Beltran. Growth has won 2 in a row. Inside to tee it up is Jackson.
Fierce fans, this fight is scheduled for 3 rounds in the professional welterweight division. Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 2 wins and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 167 1/2 pounds. Fighting out of Brute Force Fight Team, hailing from La Pointe, Utah, Dakota Hapakoa Growth. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated professional record of 1 win and 0 losses. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighed in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Full Force MMA and Top Dog Boxing, hailing from Burley, Idaho, Javier the Wild Boy Beltran. And when the fight begins, the referee in charge, Tyler Tomlinson.
Whole Shot Plumbing powers your co-main event, servicing water heaters, sewer lines, and backed by secure warranties. Dakota Growth on a tear in brown. Javier Beltran returns fire in black. Final assignment for Tyler Tomlinson. He has been busy in there with 6 assignments thus far. Again, making the hefty trip down to St. George tomorrow for Crown Fighting Championship as well. For now, we shift our focus back to the center. Javier Beltran in the red gloves. Dakota Growth rocks the blue. Inside leg kick lands for Growth.
You guys might not want to blink for this one, honestly.
Quick leg kicks on both sides of this one early on.
We got Growth switching stance back and forth from southpaw to orthodox. Javier being a little more traditional in an orthodox stance.
Quick and fast are the two. Beltran connects.
Now look at the speed.
Fast action by both. Dakota Growth always ends up in these finishing positions. Javier Beltran has done the same.
Yeah, one of the big questions going into this is Javier able to kind of defend the wrestling and grappling of Growth? Looks like he's doing a good job so far. Great jab, though, from Growth. Growth's doing a great job of countering.
Down is Growth off the Beltran hit.
Got a good recovery on the double leg, though.
Straight into the grappling. The bread and butter of Dakota Growth. had a submission win over Lehigh Dominguez in 60 seconds in September, and a 1 minute and 50-second submission over Hal Mitchell in November. Can he do another one?
He's underneath the neck. It's difficult to tell if he has the arm in the right position for the rear naked choke. It looks like it's on the top of the head. Only has one hook in on the top side. Really needs it on the bottom side in order to finish this. Still able to recover, though he's getting a little high.
Beltran defends successfully 2 minutes into round number 1.
And this is why it's so important for younger fighters to know that, you might be super tough, good boxing, good striking, but you have to be well-rounded in MMA.
Groth falls to his back. Moments ago, wanted to play in the guard. Back to the striking exchanges. Beltran lands a massive blow with the uppercut.
Definitely rocked Groth with that one.
Another baseball bat hit for Javier Beltran.
Both of these guys are landing some.
Probably the round of the night thus far, David. Unbelievable offensive showings by both sides.
And the pace these two welterweights are going at is off the charts. Just seems like Javier's landing a little bit cleaner.
Down is Groth, trying to stay in this fight. Too many to the dome. The Wild Boy stays unscathed. Every fight has concluded the same way, Javier Beltran by KO or TKO.
I think that shows that he might be the real deal, because that was not an easy opponent. Let's watch the replay. Just a great job. I mean, look at the technical boxing and then switching it up to be 100% power and ferocity,
What a fight that was for as long as it lasted. Javier Beltran comes out victorious, 2-0 the record, and again to remind, a 4-0 amateur. That is 6 trips to the cage since 2020, and he has always been the man to come out on top. Good start for him. His teammate, Anthony Castro, makes the walk in just a little bit. As for Dakota Groth, how entertaining, how fun. His third fight in 5 months, and absolutely brought it to an unbeaten prospect.
I mean, honestly, both these guys look great. Like, he had his moments, too. Honestly, he was landing nasty jab and nasty lead hook. Looked really sharp, especially when he would switch to southpaw, but it just wasn't enough for tonight. Yeah, props to Javier for keeping it full force, as they say.
A little bit more to see of them later on. For now, we will get his hand raised with Jackson Hoops in the center.
Fierce fans, referee Tyler Tomlinson has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes and 4 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by TKO, Javier, the Wild Boy Beltran.
Javier, 6 trips you have made to the cage. We can go ahead and turn around right over here, my man. No, you're totally fine. 4 as an amateur, 2 as a professional. All of them have concluded the same way. Your hand raised by knockout. How does that feel?
It feels good. A lot of hard work and dedication. We traveled a great distance to get here. From fighting in my mama's backyard to fighting in arenas. I prayed for nights like this. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Fierce Fighting, and thank you, Idaho Falls, and all my sponsors out there. I fucking love you guys. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your man, Javier Beltran.
in Utah for years already.
Joel Haro is like the next big upcoming thing out of Utah right now.
Let's get one more here in Utah, and then I'm ready for that call.
I mean, he's the guy that's just to making that next step. He's going to need a big win tonight.
An emotional reaction by Javier Beltran. It means so much to me. Talked to me yesterday about the bright lights and how he feels like it makes him magnify his special skill set. He gets it done once again in the Mountain America Center. Well, we came into tonight with 24 fighters waiting in the wings to entertain the fans of the MAC, and for all of you watching at home, entertain being an embodiment of both the unbeaten ace Anthony Castro and the ruthless Connie Correa.
Back inside the Mountain America Center with a hardware-heavy main card. This is Fierce Fighting Championship.
Connie's one of those fighters that is here to fight, and he's game to fight anyway.
I think that's going to be one of the top MMA fights professional in the entire region.
Out of Burley, Idaho, Fierce fans anxiously awaiting the type of show he can put on.
Can't just stand here.
Oh! Puzzle piece finishing blow! Anthony Castro folds another victim.
Fierce fans, our main event and final title fight of the evening is brought to you by Che Brazilian Grill, an official sponsor of Fierce Fighting Championship. Please welcome our final two title fighters, Connie Correa and then Anthony Castro, to the cage.
Out of retirement and up for a title, here is Connie Correa. David, he's faced some major players of the Utah scene, specifically UFC lightweight Mitch Ramirez and PFL veteran Carson Hardman. There's never been a blink opposite big competition for him.
You got to give Connie all of the props in the world for taking this fight. He didn't have to do it, but Fierce called him, and he answered the call, and he is game. He'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. And he's crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, accepted this fight 3 weeks ago when Will Dunkel suffered an injury. He began fighting David 14 years ago as an amateur. Shortly after he started his professional run, he was 39 the last time he competed, now 42.
And he's trained with some of the best. I mean, BJ Penn, other people in Hawaii. If you've ever trained with him, you guys know, like, regardless of the technique or whatever it might be, the situation, he's tough and he's game and he's willing to fight.
A high-level jiu-jitsu player from Hilo, Hawaii, the same area as Ricky Mamone, who's coming off a performance of the night 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're all brothers, as they say.
Connie Correa, 2.5 years since his last walk to the cage versus Ben Robinson at the Maverick Center. Again, 3 weeks' notice. He has always been able and ready to make that walk. He does it once again. His first fight outside of Utah since December of 2013.
And note that, you know, he's been training this entire time. That's why he took this fight. He's in shape and he's ready to go. I mean, look at the guy in his 40s.
So in August of last year, Anthony Castro bested another unbeaten foe in Melvin Naranjo, which placed him at the top of Idaho's elite. Tonight, he'll look to solidify those claims as a championship is on the other side of another spectacular showing.
Who are these niggas? I think they all overrated. I think they all are outdated. I'm independent, but they think that I'm sounding shady because my jewelry look like I made it. Just got a house. I need a brand new Mercedes. We kicking ass like the babies. I'm on a grind. I link with the plugs that I met one more time if these labels don't pay me.
Another knockout victory for Burley, Idaho's finest.
First ever main event for one of Idaho's top talents, Anthony Castro. David, he's been nothing short of sensational over the years. Perfect as a pro, perfect as an amateur, hoping to add a title to the resume tonight.
When you meet somebody who can sell out or almost sell out an arena in Idaho, it makes you wonder, this kid must be special.
Yeah, he fought for an amateur title in August of 2020. This one means so much more, David, when you reference the career trajectory nearly 6 years later.
Yeah, I mean, he wins this and a handful of others. Like, you're going to be seeing him on Paramount Plus soon.
Anthony Castro's first time fighting in his home state in nearly 2 years. March 29th, 2024, he debuted as a pro in Boise, Idaho, one of the highest touted prospects on the Idaho MMA scene. And that victory over a 5-0 Melvin Naranjo really made him splash.
Yeah, I think when you can beat people at that caliber, you really know that you got something there. And I think that there's a lot of eyeballs on this fight just to see how he can perform, get to 4-0, and kind of go from there for 2026.
Has not faced defeat in his MMA journey to this point, and Anthony Castro, 6 total KOs between the amateur and professional career. He is the final man to make the walk this evening. A professional title to conclude the evening, a 17-year gap in age, the largest on this card. Anthony just a little bit taller at 6'1". Championship weight without a hitch for the main eventers as Castro tries to stay unbeaten and Correa looks to spoil the party. Back to the middle, we got Jackson, make some noise, hoops.
Fierce fans, this is your main event. When the fight begins, the referee in charge will be Dave Seljestad. This fight is scheduled for 5 rounds for the Fierce Fighting Championship Professional Welterweight title. Now, one more time, I need everybody tuning into the pay-per-view and everybody here inside the Mountain America Center, from the upper suites to the arena seats and all the way down to cage side. Put your hands together and make some noise! Introducing the first fighter, fighting out of the blue corner, holding a professional record of 4 wins and 7 losses. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 170 pounds. Fighting out of Wasatch Combat Sports, Agima Jiu-Jitsu and MMA, and Live Strong MMA. Hailing from the island of Hawaii, Kani Correa! And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, holding an undefeated professional record of 3 wins and 0 losses. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighed in at 169 pounds. Fighting out of Top Dog Boxing and Full Force MMA, hailing from Burley, Idaho, the assassin, Anthony Castro.
All right, bring it in. Bring it in, bring it in. All right, boys, we ended over the rules in the locker room already. Just going to go over those big ones again. Stay off the top, back of the head, neck, and spine, and keep your fingers out of the cage. Got it? Touch them up. Let's have a good fight.
Title fight digs for Kani Correa. He wears black. The undefeated Anthony Castro counters in blue. FFC 46 is presented with the help of Che Brazilian Grill, an unlimited menu that comes right to your table. An absolutely electric environment for this main event, David.
I need somebody to hold my hand. You know, you can never count Kani out of a fight, honestly. He's crazy enough to win. But we know how good Castro is.
Quick and fast as Anthony Castro early on. Kani Correa continues to come forward.
Cunny's doing a lot of big movements.
Big shot down the
one.
pipe for Cunny Correa. He'll look to wrestle.
And what did I say? You can never count him out. But Castro's doing a great job of not letting that hook in.
Like mentioned, took UFC lightweight Mitch Ramirez to a decision. Carson Hardman, another high-level competitor that he has had competitive fights with. Correa wants the back.
You're hearing Cunny chants now, all the way from the island.
Crowd battles back and forth for their support. Correa finds himself on top.
Oh my heavens. He has his back.
Correa starts to chase the back, almost had a hook. Fast out of the break, spinning elbow for Cunny Correa. Down is Correa.
Castro just doing a great job of staying on him. But that just goes to show even one punch from Castro can be enough.
Couple of professional knockout wins, 4 more as an amateur. So much power at 170 pounds for Anthony Castro.
You got to say, you can't even tell Cunny took this on 3 weeks' notice. He looks to be in tip-top shape, just like Anthony Castro.
Stapled up against the cage is Cunny Correa off the pressure of Anthony Castro.
You know, earlier you saw Castro kind of in a similar position, was able to reverse it. Cunny's doing a great job here getting up. Great kick at the end, too.
Plenty of control. Castro shows off that Minnesota State wrestling. Big chop to the midsection for Cunny Correa.
You know, Cunny's doing these big movements, right? Versus Castro's kind of keeping the boxing a little bit sharper. A little unpredictable from Cunny, but I feel like the damage is kind of coming more from Castro. This is not a good, I mean, he has the Kimura grip, but you got to be careful of being thrown on your head here.
Castro looks to get a hip down, trying to gain more control.
You know, and Cunny's wrestling looking really sharp tonight. I mean, he almost peeked him out right there, reversed him earlier. And I know he's getting taken down right now, but Cunny's doing a great job of mitigating the damage by holding on from guard. Good butterfly hooks.
Castro covers the mouth, a little bit of the nose, makes it uncomfortable for the visiting fighter.
You know, if I'm Anthony Castro, I wonder what I'm thinking right now, you know? Like, I probably wasn't expecting this. He's doing a great job of staying on top right here.
Castro spent a lot of time on top versus Melvin Naranjo. He'll try to pepper in a few shots, but a tight guard for Cunny.
You know, unfortunately for Anthony Castro, I don't think he can win this without putting him to sleep, you know? Like, Cunny's a tough night out for anyone.
Correa has been finished 3 times in his career, once by submission, twice by KO or TKO.
But what I like that Anthony Castro is doing is he knows that he's the younger fighter with the power, but he's being patient here and he's being okay kind of staying on top and using his weight to kind of get to the right spot. That shows a lot of experience, you know. In a fight that you know, you're kind of the favorite to win, I think it would be really easy for you to just go for it.
Some strong shots from the top for Anthony Castro. Final seconds, round 1.
Cunny's still fighting it, still defending.
Correa fights back. Round 1 in the books.
You know, honestly, like, you got to give the round to Castro just for the damage he did, but like, Cunny, I mean, the first half of that round, he kind of was winning, honestly.
We're looking at a guy 17 years younger than his opposition, and Cunny Correa does look good. Like you mentioned, Anthony Castro, obviously the fighter taking away that round. Looks solid. His wrestling specifically is very sharp, similar to how it looked in August versus Melvin Naranjo.
No, I mean, Castro looked phenomenal just in a lot of those wrestling exchanges. He was able to really get it to the point where Cunny was kind of had to force to be on bottom, you know. So it was really good to watch Anthony Castro kind of be patient from those positions, because you have to remember this is a 5-round fight, right? This isn't just like a, you know, quick wrestling match.
Again, for the Fierce FC professional welterweight title, the first professional title up for grabs since March of last year, the last time we were here for Jordan Curry and Jared Vandera for the Fierce FC heavyweight title.
That was a great fight, too.
Round 2 we go. Big head kick goes for Correa, partially lands.
Yeah, Cunny's dipping his head pretty hard, getting out of the way, but I wonder if Anthony can.
Correa moves his head, bids to grapple. Castro, one step ahead.
You know, I thought that was smart by Castro, because, you know, I think he's okay just staying on top and wearing out the older fighter. Took this on short notice.
Castro starts to batter. Correa is so tough, David.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I think if you've ever trained, or if you know Cunny, you know that you have to put him to sleep to win the fight. Just the heart on him is impressive. Hawaiian Rocky over there, you know?
That has always been how he presents himself in this cage. Loads up another big one for Cunny. Correa. Castro bites back with a bigger one.
Oh, that was a nasty right hand from Castro. But Cunny's still up. You get a little nervous when you start seeing those hands come down. They're getting backed up to the edge of the cage. But Cunny's doing a good job. He's still moving. You can kind of see the gas leaving, though.
Castro's targets starting to land flush.
He's just being real patient, which is good.
Fights the hands as well in close quarters. Castro continues to be so productive.
He might get to that clinch position there in a second.
Big swings, a couple of misses.
See, I don't like that from Castro. I mean, he honestly kind of has this one if he's able to just stay patient. Yeah, use the wrestling. This is what we want from Castro. As much as it, you know, would be great to see an awesome knockout, I think this is kind of the smarter game plan to.
Vicious elbow lands for Castro right up against the broadcast booth.
Yeah, you're seeing, once again, like, I think it's one of those scenes, you know, there's other fighters, like Justin Gaethje kind of comes to mind, or other people where you can get a little out of control even when you're on top or you're winning, and you got to reel it back in kind of like this. And, you know, these punches aren't knockout punches, but they might finish the fight here just as easily as any other shot.
He's making him drown. Anthony Castro just about there. He's got it. Anthony Castro, the Fierce FC welterweight champion, on a fast track to the big leagues. The final outpour of strikes. Anthony Castro comes away the victor, still undefeated and still so impressive.
Yeah, I think for me the key takeaway was, like, he could have finished it with a crazy hook from hell, but he chose to do kind of like the mature and the seasoned thing, you know? So he's fighting beyond his years, and that's a good sign if you want to make it big.
That man is 25 years of age, now 4-0 and a Fierce FC welterweight champion. Anthony Castro, his first ever belt as a professional. A massive night for him. It seemed as though it would be his, as he will be crowned. Anthony Castro, again, David, seems like a guy who will be on some of the biggest stages in this sport in the future.
Yeah.
Fierce fans, referee Dave Selyestead has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 52 seconds of the second round, declaring the winner by TKO and new undisputed welterweight champion, the assassin, Anthony Castro.
Anthony Castro. Simple question. Belt wrapped around your shoulder. How does that feel?
Feels amazing, man. I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Gets me through everything. I want to thank my family, my coaches, Pete, my dad, Hector Castro. Thank you, everyone, for who came, and for everyone that watched on pay-per-view. Thank you. And the Fierce too. Thanks.
Anthony, you are an unbelievable talent. It seems like you were on a beeline for some of the biggest leagues in this sport. What do you want to do over the next year or so?
I mean, you already know. We're going straight to the top, baby. But I'll let my coaches and my managers decide, and we'll see what we do.
Cannot wait for it. Anthony, congratulations.
Can I thank my sponsors? Oh, my bad. Hold up. Okay, thank you, 3-Peat Vintage, Magic Valley Tires, Les Schwab, Lexi Coil, Rocky Mountain Real Estate, El Torito Market, Lit and Fit Fitness, System Jiu-Jitsu, Diamond Inc., Mi Ranchito, Navoa Trucking, Goody Motor, Pro Coat Painting, HES Properties, Idaho Construction. Thanks to the IMS crew and Minico Wrestling. Also to my beautiful girlfriend, Kaylee. I love you. Thank you, everybody.
Idaho, you've got yourself a champion. Give it up for Anthony Castro.
You asked, and we've answered. Jay Brazilian Grill is now partnering with Rodizio Grill to bring meats to your table. Now you can relax and indulge as our gauchos bring picanha top sirloin, glazed pineapple, and more right to you. Enjoy tableside rotation and additional meats at our Gaucho Grill. Come enjoy the new service style at Che by Rodizio Grill. Learn more at chegrill.com.
And new for Anthony Castro, who seems like it is just a matter of time before he is on the biggest stages of this sport. As we welcome you to the AFFC 46 post-fight show, Blake O'Rulian, David Kim, and David, this Idaho Falls crowd certainly got their MMA feel this evening.
You know, Fierce Fighting Championship from Price to Idaho and everywhere in between. This might have been one of the best cards in Fierce Fighting Championship history.
We can come on over to us in the two-shot over at the broadcast booth. Again, myself, Blake O'Rulian, David Kim as well. David, an unbelievable night as Anthony Castro becomes the champion. Chloe Becker gets a somewhat upset considering the MMA math of Kiani beat Hannah Silva. Hannah Silva had finished Chloe Becker. All that being said, an incredible night and some new champions to crown as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Amin Garcia show up with a one-punch KO. We saw, Pfeiffer do an amazing job. We had so many great fights and so many finishes on this card, too. The fans really got what they came to see.
Unbelievable night in terms of finishes as well as the professional performances. Anthony Castro really does seem like a guy who could be on the biggest stages again in the UFC someday or something like that. So 2 weeks ago, we were at the Masonic Temple for Fierce Fighting Championship 45. 2 weeks from now, we're back for Fierce Challenger Series 19. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, always fun with that Fierce FC ring.
Yeah, it's been such a breath of fresh air to have kickboxing in the state of Utah. If you're in town, please, please, please go buy your tickets on fiercefightingchampionship.com. Be there, support the Masonic Temple as well. It would be awesome to see you guys.
And you saw it right there at the end. Fierce Fighting Championship 47 is right around the bend, March 7th, celebrating a decade of excellence here at Fierce FC, one of the top promotions in the entire West Coast, and the card is going to be stacked for March 7th.
And it's at 10 years because of people like Blake O'Rulian, Zach Partridge, Cody Bunderson, so many other people to thank. But it's such a blessing as a fighter to have such an amazing promotion in town supporting us too.
Such a fun night. That one should be good on March 7th. Tickets on sale on Monday. But we have had so many highlights. Let's scan through a few of them as we take a look at Fierce Fighting Championship 46. We started things off. Chris Nanny, Kahialo Clark. Kahialo Clark gets the emphatic knockdown finish. What a close for him, his first amateur victory. Not only him, but Edwin Martinez completely shuts the lights off. A firecracker out of the jump for him. Not to mention Wyatt Powell, maybe the most flush knockout of the night, sits down Austin Bershey with a rupturing overhand right. Michael Pfeiffer as well gets his hand raised. Brandon Henley gets the job done as well. We move all the way over to the rear naked choke of Joe Aguirre, his final fight inside of that cage. Ammon Garcia sits down Leon Taylor with this one right here. An unbelievable showing by him. He has won 2 in a row. Javier Beltran as well batters to the body, and then a few too many up top. Javier Beltran gets the job done, and his record stays unscathed. How about Anthony Castro? Just completely overwhelming, an unbelievable showing, and your new Fierce FC welterweight champion. Massive thank you for watching FFC 46 from our entire Pats Media crew, our producer, Aiden Mortensen, our graphics coordinator, Ryan Piccolo, our A1, Paul Anderson, and all of us here at Fierce Fighting Championship. For David Kim, I'm Blake O'Rulian saying see you in 2 weeks.